for the corner. Make you no go stand for the corner. Make you drop your phone for the corner. As the beat the flow for your inner. Put down for chest and swear. Say you know they feeling for chest. I bet when the DJ knock out for deck, I know say you don't they carry you go. Carry you go where you know no.
No, no.
For like a when I'm go low. Carry you go where you know no. Shalewa when I'm go low.
You make it carry me go where no, no. When you make me lose control. You shawty walk, back control. Shawty walk, back control.
For like fidi ridi mo fidi ridi. Shalewa. For like fidi ridi mo fidi ridi. Shalewa. For like fidi ridi mo fidi ridi. Shalewa. For like fidi ridi mo fidi ridi. One time I be stepping up. I go move my body till I feel I've had enough. Make nobody come and try to interrupt. I dey feel all the moves is not good stuff. Another time I be feeling fly. See I saw the fine boys on they look my side. You no care about the force where they wanna fly. I go just stay dingy, post to be pride. I wanna dance till I can feel my feet. Dance till I know fit, yeah beat. Dance until you contact it. Dance until you know peace. So put down for chest and swear. Say you know they feeling for chest. I bet when the DJ knock out for deck, I know say you don't they carry you go where you know no. For like when I'm go low. Carry you go where you know no. Shalewa when I'm go low. Shalewa for like fidi ridi mo fidi ridi. 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 I just wanna feel it, the vibration. Me no got no worries. Now your vibe where it easy.
No, no.
Me no got no worries. Now your vibe where it easy. Yeah.
Wallah, ولبي يا رسول الله.
فوفوتني بقى يا بابا
وليلة يدي يا بابا
فوفوتني بقى يا بابا
واسل الشوق يا بابا تخزيمة
فوفوتني بقى يا بابا
وما مات شعل وليلة يدي يا بابا
فوفوتني بقى يا بابا
يا دارت بلا ودارت بلا يا بابا
فوفوتني بقى يا بابا
وابولا يا مولاي يا شباب
فوفوتني بقى يا بابا
وابولاي لا شوف وزيلا مسبب
فوفوتني بقى يا بابا
وكلها وحاله حدا يمشي بحاله يا بابا
فوفوتني بقى يا بابا فوفوتني بقى يا بابا
وابولا يا مولاي لا شباب
فوفوتني بقى يا بابا
وابولاي لا شوف يا سلام اسمه
فوفوتني بقى يا بابا
واشعلوا الخرجين يا بالليل يا بابا
فوفوتني بقى يا بابا
يا فوفوتني وهدي الديار أشعل وشمع أمامات كذا أمامات شعل وليلة ليلة وليلة ديا نظرت مدى أفوت ديما وأمامات كذا وليلة ديا وحرام مرة هاني ديا يا مدو يا ربي أفوت ديما وليلة ليلة
Hostile Therapy. All right, welcome to Hostile Therapy for Thursday with Big Red, with me, of course, Big Red, and Lord Trent returning for another episode. What's going on, man?
You already know. Do I have to say it? Can you say it? Go ahead, say it, Big Red.
Go
Say
ahead.
it for me one time.
Go ahead and get us
Free
canceled.
Palestine, goddammit. I wasn't even gonna let you get goddamn chance. Motherfuckers over there still dropping bombs on innocent Palestinian children, innocent Congolese children. It's crazy. It's wild. These Jews, these white people is not playing about it. Go off. Diddy is wild too. That nigga Diddy still fucking people.
Oh, man, it's somebody every day. Now it's Meek Mill supposedly now.
Yeah. Man.
Lawsuits coming
Hold up,
left.
wait a minute.
What's up?
No, I was just I think that's what Meek Mill was saying when Diddy was creeping up on him. Hold up, wait a minute. I thought you was finished.
Not quite. He was on
Not quite,
Twitter.
Eddie.
Looks like trying to defend himself very strongly, trying to show how much he actually loves women. I'm like, dude, you ain't got to go that hard to show that you love
Yeah,
women.
so, okay, now it's like, all right, come on. All right.
Make yourself look bad.
Now it's like, okay. Now, okay, go ahead. Go on, Meek.
Yeah, you know, he's like he's trying a little bit too hard to defend himself. But you know, I'm gonna wait until some more information comes out. I ain't gonna go out there and say he automatically did it. But I don't know. So, seeing these pictures I've seen recently with him in the pool and stuff, it's like, man, you're a little bit too close.
Yeah, that one video of him in the pool and Diddy recording him saying like first off, the video started with Diddy calling him king size.
Call him what?
King size. You heard me. King size.
Nah, he didn't do that.
Yes, he did. Oh my God. Oh, yes, he did. Red. I swear to God.
Come on.
It was Meek Mill in the pool, and Diddy was like, "Yeah, what's up, king size? Yeah, you made me proud, daddy. Yeah,
He called him daddy too.
He called everybody daddy, but yeah, Meek was like in the pool, just floating a little bit. He looked uncomfortable. He looked like, why you got the camera? I don't want my picture taken right now.
Look, you don't really compliment no other guy on their physique with a nickname.
And Meek Mill's not
call somebody like
built dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you ever seen Meek Mill in the pool or whatever, fuck, like he a real regular motherfucker. He looked like one of the motherfuckers to say, I ain't gotta work out because I shoot. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like that's a verse he has somewhere too.
Yeah, just imagine
I ain't gotta work out my good healthy. Even though that's a Jadakiss verse.
Just imagine I said it, but louder, and that's Meek Mill.
Wow. Yeah, there's been a lot of those in the news lately and this year. Seems like everybody is trying to expose somebody in Hollywood. Like I said, from TD Jakes to Steve Harvey to P. Diddy, somebody's getting exposed for running through other male celebrities. You thought it was just the women you had to worry about. It's the male celebrities is getting topped off.
I could have told you that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? A lot of them, you know what I'm saying? A lot of these women, they just doing a lot of the things that happen to a lot of the women in the industry is honestly just because they wanted jobs. What these old nasty white men really want is these big handsome male actors and these big handsome black men that just all want to be famous, and they just keep asking, well, how bad do you want it?
See, and there's a little bit of fear I will, and a little bit of grace I will give women in this type of situation, where you can say, well, fear might have been involved in why they did some of the things. Not 100%, but I can see it a little bit more from their point of view. But with a grown-ass man doing this, you know, nah, you want to do that for the fame, dog, for the money. You could have turned, you could have fought, or you could have ran away, but you didn't.
You told yourself. I always think about the Temptations and how Otis why the fuck was Otis the leader? And this nigga, he never sang lead. All he did was just say, I don't want to work in a steel mill, so I'm gonna make it with this singing shit. And it's like, why? It's always the people that are just determined to, I'm not gonna I don't want to do it the regular way. I don't care what it takes. I'm gonna be famous. I'm gonna be somebody. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. And I always think about it's always the people that nobody came to see that feel like they really got to do that.
Ain't nobody come to see you, Otis.
Ain't nobody yeah, like if
You the only one
Dave
alive.
Chappelle most recently says like I love exposing the truth and I love fighting the Illuminati and shit, but how are we fighting the Illuminati by ethering Cedric the Entertainer?
That's my point exactly. And I think that was Dave Chappelle's point. Like, what are we doing? And who else was speaking on that? That was on Vlad. The dude that got in trouble with Tiffany Haddish for Mad TV. Harry Spears. He was speaking on that. He was like, well, what are we actually doing? What is this going to accomplish? And I mean, Cat Williams, even though his name is still in the news, it's kind of died down. Monique has been the new thing, and she'll die down eventually. We'll look back at the end of the year and talk about, oh, you remember what happened in January? No, refresh me. Oh, that's when they did those interviews with Cat Williams and Monique. There'll be an afterthought. Nothing is going to change.
You know who dumbass sat down to talk about Cat Williams on Club Shay Shay? Old Terrell Crews.
Yeah, I saw that piece of it, which I kind of got that too. She made a lot of sense on the clip I saw because he was talking about unfair pay or what is criticized as unfair pay for Monique and other people in the entertainment industry. I'm like, you didn't have to accept the terms and conditions. If you can't say yes and nod at the same time. I like that phrase he used. So you can't go there saying you got unfairly taken in the industry, but you agreed to still perform. If they were going to pay you unfairly, you can't agree to the terms and then cry about it later. I mean, he talked about being on Training Day. He didn't get paid nothing. Neither did I expect him to get paid anything. He was in there for about 3 minutes. He might have said 4 lines. Not even 4 lines.
He had no words. He was background. He was just background thug.
Yeah. I think the most he said was, "We got this." Towards the end, when they all turned on Denzel at the end, I think that's about it. And some people are like, "Oh, I can't believe he didn't at least get $200." No, you do these roles for exposure for a bigger role. And that movie, Training Day, came out a year before Friday After Next, which probably propelled him to Friday After Next because of what he did there and probably other small roles. But that's how it goes. And that's how I was going with Monique when she was doing her Precious thing. They don't get paid enough, or a lot, I'll say, for their initial role and for low budget films. And so they were going to pay her to do these touring gigs that they wanted her to do for the film. And she wants to change that. Now, if you want to change it, that's fine. But she's not doing anything any different than anyone else has tried to do. Most people don't get paid a lot for these initial films and low budget films. They get paid very low, if anything at all. Terrence Howard didn't get paid a lot. Monique didn't get paid a lot. When you do films like that and they try to win an Oscar for low budget films and your first film or you're fresh out the gate, you don't get paid nothing. The dude from Black Panther, he didn't get paid hardly anything for Black Panther because it was more exposure. T'Challa, the guy that played T'Challa, just died. He didn't get paid nothing. He was going to get paid.
He didn't get paid.
He didn't get paid a lot. I don't even think he got paid 7 figures.
I could see that because you know what? That was an ensemble cast. And for Chadwick Boseman at that point in his career, I mean, we got to think about it. Chadwick Boseman does not have an extensive acting catalog. And that film does have people like Angela Bassett, who probably costs a little bit more money.
Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker, who probably costs a little bit more money.
Yes.
Sterling K. Brown, who probably costs a little bit more money. One of the motherfucking Lord of the Rings white people who probably costs a lot more money than all of them put together.
Yeah, they got paid. Yeah, because exactly what you say. They have an extensive catalog. And he got more of a catalog after that movie. He was going to get paid on the sequel. 7, 10, 7, 8 figures.
Be able to do what RDJ did.
Yeah. This is exactly. That's another one. And he had an extensive catalog. Robert Downey Jr., and he didn't get paid a lot on Iron Man.
But see, that's because
he was on a downturn.
That's because he was a live. They didn't want to pay him that much because you don't want to give a recovering drug addict that much money.
Yeah. It's all about what you can prove at the moment, all about your hotness at the moment, not what you did
They
in the
ain't wanna
past.
they don't want to hire that Mark Anthony.
Yeah. Like nobody's gonna pay Allen Iverson. That's a good example. If Allen Iverson came back today to play for the 76ers, he's not gonna get paid Allen Iverson money for 2003 because he's no longer that guy. At least you gotta prove you're that guy. You don't get paid off what you did in the past necessarily, unless it was the near past, not the
I'm
distant
not
past.
paying nothing. Allen Iverson wasn't even that raw. I mean, he was raw, but yeah, I'm not paying for someone who don't go to practice. Not paying
He
for
still
someone I
played
know.
came to play though. I give him that.
That means you're not gonna know what the rest of the team is doing because you didn't show up to practice.
Right. Well, they're probably doing the same thing he was clubbing the night before
It is Philadelphia.
and passing drug tests because he did love the weed.
Word. He had a couple mixtapes too, I think. And he got locked up. That boy had a hard life.
All right, let's get to the main story for the day. All right, for men and being able to have open spaces to be vulnerable, to share their feelings. And is that a thing that most men have, either amongst other men and amongst women? Is that something you think most men have? No. Why do you think that is?
One, we don't create it for ourselves. It's not something we seek on our own. It's not something we're taught to seek on our own. I don't even know what for a majority of men. I don't even know what that would look like outside of a smoke session. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
That's a
I
good
think
point.
it's sorely lacking in our. I think we should have those, but in terms of like where I think the closest thing we have as men, especially us as black men, would be considered the barber shop,
Yeah,
possibly.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
But how safe is that space really if we're discussing everyone's business here?
Yeah. And you mentioned that with the smoking or even drinking. That's probably the biggest place where the inhibitions come down to talk about one's feelings and stuff. You
And that's
have
doing
to
it
get
under the
drunk or
pretense of
high
being
to be able
inebriated.
to talk about certain things, which is kind of sad when you kind
Yeah,
of think
you
of
have to be inebriated or intoxicated to want to express actual emotion outside of let's get fucked up or actual emotion outside of having a good time.
it. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Let me add I didn't even see Preezy. I added up there. Let me add Preezy up here. I'm sorry, Preezy. I just saw Preezy up there at the bottom of the screen. What's going on, Preezy?
Well, I only been here for about 2 hours.
I'm sorry. I didn't see you. I was up there doing something else in the background trying to talk at the same time. I just saw you up there.
I'm joking. How's everybody doing?
We're doing good. We're trying to express our emotions right now.
What?
We're hoping we have
Men
a safe
have
space.
emotions? Whoa.
Emotional.
Out of the 100% of emotions we have, it's let's say 50%
What?
anger,
Okay.
40% happy, and 10% maybe sad if we're drunk.
Oh, okay.
So we have to get drunk to show those.
Lust is an emotion.
That sounds about right.
Right. Now we were saying, like, is there a safe place for us to even show those type of emotions? LT said no. Well, majority wise, no, there's not a safe place. We don't really create it, and there's not really none really out there. And I said, really, the only time is a safe place is if we're drunk or if we're high. LT said the barbershop, which is very true to an extent. You know, we'll talk about certain things, but we ain't gonna go deep into it and put our hearts on our sleeve, so to speak.
Not in a barbershop.
Yeah, we might talk about our women. We ain't gonna go extensively deep. Like, man, I really wanted to cry with her last night when we were watching Mia Culpa, that horrible ass movie from Tyler Perry.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that made me want to cry. The plot line made me want to cry just to see how horrible it was and sit through that for 2 hours.
Mm.
But yeah, we don't really have a
That was
spotlight.
Kelly
yet.
Rowland, right?
Yeah, that was Kelly Rowland.
Kelly Rowland still doing movies.
Beyonce's number 2 in line,
Mm.
which she probably would hate to hear that.
I was surprised she did.
Does she have a high? Kelly,
Well,
Kelly
you know it
Rowland.
got to be a Tyler Perry movie because I do not know any other movie she's done besides Freddy versus Jason. That was like early 2000s.
Oh,
She was in
I didn't even know that.
Kelly Rowland was in she was in an episode of Damn 1-on-1 probably, right?
Maybe. I
don't
didn't
know.
really watch that show like that, so yeah. Maybe.
I was just shooting in the dark. I just felt like that would be her caliber of show to guest star on.
So did they were just saying that the show was bad?
The movie? I mean, Mia Culpa?
Yeah.
Majority of people. Anybody likes that movie, they're just talking about the sex scene when they were having sex in paint.
Oh.
Y'all some nasty ass.
Woo!
Ain't nobody trying to do all that. Y'all ain't trying to get. Y'all ain't even trying to sweat,
Why
let
you
alone get
can't?
anything in your hair.
Wait a minute. You say ain't nobody trying to do all that?
Ain't nobody trying to sweat.
Not all that paint stuff. Not that.
Yeah. So they're like, they don't want to sweat. You talking about getting paint in your hair.
That's what I'm saying.
And
but
the nether regions.
I'm talking about the scene.
Oh, of course. Yeah, but that was kind of part of what people was like, oh, wow, it's something different. Paint. I've never had sex with Sherwin Williams in paint before.
No, it's a different type of paint. It's not. I don't think it's anything that.
I don't think you should.
You can't get paint in your private parts and stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
This had to be some type of sexual
yeast infection. Yes, that's what's going to be.
Because then you would need paint remover. Like if you get it on there, don't let it dry. Like, yeah.
It ain't supposed to dry. It's supposed
to. I can actually go to that movie. I can actually use this movie in this example, what we're talking about, expressing feelings. Now, the guy, I'm not going to give away too much of the plot.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to watch it.
They're pretty much the same. The guy at the beginning with Kelly Rowland was with Kelly Rowland's attorney, and I forgot where the guy worked at. I think he worked in the dentist's office because somehow he got fired for sniffing gas or something. But weird. But he lost his job and he felt, like he wasn't the man anymore. He felt low. And Kelly Rowland demeaned him and said, you ain't even paying no bills. You lost your job 8 months ago. So he was not offered a safe place to feel even sorry for herself. She wasn't picking him up. And this is not really a spoiler alert. Kelly Rowland, this is like all Tyler Perry movies. Kelly Rowland saw another black guy that she was attracted to who was on trial for murder, and she was attracted to him and went and had sex with him, also at the same time being the lawyer. I'm like, isn't that a conflict of interest? And why would you put your trust in a guy who's on trial for murder versus going and try to work it out with your husband?
But remember, she was having problems with her husband. So that was
now you create a problem in your career.
But her husband, wasn't they corrupted? They were trying to set her up and all that. So I mean,
she didn't know all that though. But the thing is, not even just going to have an affair. That's one thing. It was with a guy on trial for murder.
Man, things happen.
For murder though.
It shouldn't have. That's your career. Like I feel like you should be removed from the bar if you do that.
Like always something new. People, I wasn't even focused on the cheating part. I was just like, this is OJ you sleeping with. And you're going home with him late at night, stay with him.
What you gonna do?
Right. What you gonna do, right?
What you gonna do?
He might get murdered. Get murdered. Might hold her hostage and say, hey, look, I got this lawyer hostage. Reduce my sentence and let me go free, or else I'm gonna murder this bitch. Or
I don't think
or take my case, or I'm gonna tell your husband that you having sex with me.
Now you're speaking on the movie already. They're calling out some parts of the movie already. You must have seen it.
I must have written this movie. Tyler Perry owes me money.
She got caught up.
But see that. But back to what I was saying earlier. But if there's no safe space like that, you can't even just lose your job. Yeah, he was trying to work his way back. This happens a lot, and you think with the person you're closest with, your wife, you should be able to have moments of trouble in your life and be able to talk to her, and she's going to tell you it's going to be all right. Just keep trying and keep trying. It's a little bit different for guys because guys cannot be seen as deadbeats at any point. Deadbeats is you just cannot go without having a job. I don't care if it's 8 months or 1 week. The clock is ticking before the divorce happens as soon as you lose your job. If she loses her job, take your time, honey. If you don't get a job within 10 years, that's fine. If you want to work, you can work. But there's a different type of pressure for men if you don't have your job.
Well, you ought to provide us.
Right. And I got no disagreement with that. But there should be a point or place where we should be able to talk about our frustrations. And what I was saying earlier, the only time we see to express our frustrations is if we have an understanding wife or if we're drunk or high. And then things come out that probably shouldn't come out.
Honestly, not really. Nobody kind of wants to hear the leader express their frustrations, worries, doubts, and fears.
Right.
Like nobody think about it, like in terms of the Justice League. Nobody wants to hear Superman say, "Hey, y'all, I don't know if we're gonna be able to beat them.
Right.
This gonna be a tough fight. Damn, man, I ain't been in the sun in like 3 days."
Good point. Good point, LT. Why is that? Why would it be
You're
bad?
supposed to be Superman all the time. Fuck
Right.
that Clark Kent shit.
Because you can't look weak at any point. So that is something a guy has to carry around with him all day. This is also why guys can't even talk amongst guys, because if you say something in a moment of weakness, he may use that against you later. Maybe even go get your girl.
So you gonna fuck with him and he weak to kryptonite? Oh, I'm sorry. I ain't know people wasn't supposed to know that about you, bro. My bad.
Exactly. That's in a comic book fashion, but that does have some merit in real life.
I'm a nerd.
And if you go and talk to your girl, who you gonna see every night, she may not use it then, but she gonna put it in the storage cabinet for later. Like, oh man, you can't tell me what to do. You ain't got no job, and you were crying last week about losing your job. You can't be head of household.
To keep the superhero metaphor going, imagine getting into an argument. Lois Lane blow your shit up all over the fucking Daily Planet. So Clark Kent, aka Superman. Oh, I didn't know if y'all knew that about him. This motherfucker don't know how to wipe up the toilet seat. Imagine that, y'all. Superman can't wipe up the toilet seat. 5 o'clock, Lois Lane. Tune in.
It's important though, I think, to the closest people you're going to talk to be non-judgmental, or offer a place to be non-judgmental and be able to just listen. But most guys, when we talk, we're not really trying to get our feelings off like women usually are. They're not, sometimes we just want advice. We want help on how to fix a situation, not necessarily just express our feelings. That's a rarity where a guy's going to talk about his feelings. He just wants the situation to get fixed. And if he doesn't think you got the answers to how to fix a situation, more likely he's not going to come to you. He's going to go to someone else. Now, that's not necessarily your fault. That's just typically how a guy thinks. He wants his problem solved. A lot of times with women, they just want you to hear them. They just want to talk about what's going on with them. They don't care necessarily if you're going to fix the problem. Just let them express themselves or get whatever's on their chest off for the day. It's just differently how we're wired when it comes to certain situations. And then there's those rare times where a guy just may be going through it and shit done hit the fan and he wants you to listen to his feelings. It's rare. That's why it is important when he does finally open up to you that you don't belittle him. I'm saying both sides, women and men. More than likely, he's going to come to a woman, though, to express his feelings than a guy. Because like I said, I think a guy, back to the comic book thing, could probably use that against him, because we're always seen, even in men's eyes, we got to be seen as strong. If he sees any weakness in you, then he may not respect you anymore as a man. If you cry too much, you just can't go boo-hooing to any guy in the streets, or even your friends, to that matter, all the time, because you're going to be looked at as weak.
They all have terrible friendships with each other. If you think about it, they don't.
Yeah, if you're crying over somebody who just died, yes, we get that. But like crying, literally crying over that you lost a job, or crying because you got written up, or because your child skinned their knee on the concrete, it does something to the psyche.
You're sensitive.
Yeah, you're sensitive. Or and some people go a step further and will call you the H word that has a O right after it.
Homo?
Sexual at the end of it. No. Homosexual. That's what I was going to say.
Oh, I mean, that's an O at the end of it. Homo.
Yeah. I was trying not to say that, but I was trying to be nice.
Oh, okay. Homo.
Yeah, but people will come after your sexuality too. No one usually comes after a woman's sexuality, even if she does act a little bit too masculine in someone's eye. No one typically doesn't call her a homosexual in that name anyway. They may call her too masculine, but they won't call her homosexual.
I mean, yeah, because people think of homosexual as that kind of sounds more masculine. When women, they obviously have the lesbian term. So, but
yeah, and that's not seen as derogatory. Usually,
it's not. You know
on
what I'm
that
saying?
side.
It's almost liberating.
Yeah. How let me ask Preezy, because Preezy is a woman. I think because she says she is. I don't want to assume, but she has said.
I don't know if y'all know this about Preezy or not, but she is a woman.
How you know that?
Oh Lord, it's been how long has it been? We ain't seen Preezy in a while. So what you been doing, Preezy? That voice has changed. What's going on?
Lost a lot of weight. I'm saying.
Okay, you sound like
I did some.
I did. When is the Lots dropping their next album?
I did some changes,
You rubbing the beard.
5 that are alive, and that's just all one LP.
I am old woman. Yeah, no, I did that on purpose.
The 3 o'clock shadow is coming in.
I'm locked up.
3 in the morning shadow.
Looking tight. No,
Well,
what's the question?
Or should I say, when you used to be a woman? No, but Preezy is a woman. Well, okay,
Preezy is all woman. I am all woman.
she is all woman.
Yes.
It's not a rumor that she is all woman. So when you're with the guy, how do you offer a safe space for him to open up to you?
I'd be like, nigga, listen. Stop being a bitch and talk to me. Talk to me. No, for real.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, you have to make them comfortable enough to express themselves with you.
Yeah.
I think when you got good conversation, the number one thing I would love to hear is, I feel like I could talk to you. That's when you know, all right, this person is comfortable. And then they might be sharing some things that you'd be like, oh, I ain't expect this person to share this with me. That's how you know that this person is comfortable. But you want to make them feel like, hey, it's just you and I talking. This is not going anywhere, because I'm a private person, and I can feel the vibe. Like when you got that vibe, like it's just you and I talking. It's not going to A, it's not going to B. I think when you make somebody feel comfortable like that, it's easy for them to come out and talk. Because I'm the type of person, I don't like to let things go. So I'll call you 2-3 o'clock in the morning. If I feel like something's not right and I feel like you want to tell me, you just don't know how, listen, come on, we could talk. Express yourself. Don't hold nothing in because it's not good. And it could affect us by you holding things in. So I'm here. I'm always here if you need to talk. I won't put pressure on you, but just know that I'm here. And I think when you have that, when you talk like that to your partner and they really feel it, things are easy. Like, you can't force somebody to talk because you got people out there. And that's the number one thing. When I look for someone, if you're not a communicator, I don't care how fine, how much money you got. Communication is the key. And if I feel like you are not a talker, like I could tell if your conversations are just so short and lame, and I don't want to be bothered, because if you acting like that regular, what's going to happen when we have a problem?
Right.
You got to make the person. I always try to make that person feel comfortable. Make her feel comfortable, because we don't know what type of issues people have gone through in life. You know, maybe there's something he went through that is stopping him from being so maybe somebody did him dirty. Maybe what last person he spoke to told his business. So you got to feel a person out and let them know that they're in a safe place. Like, I'm not going to be getting on the radio. Yo, I was talking to my man last night. Let me tell you this secret. He said, girl, bye. He told me this, and he was like, oh shit, she told my. So you don't want nobody wants a blabbermouth.
And so you said something very important too. That it's important for a guy to feel like you're not going to go tell someone else. If you have shown him evidence that you're a chatty patty and you're going to tell gossip back and forth, left and right, and he's looking at it like, well, if you're telling this information that you're talking about your own girls, your own friends,
right,
that you tell your friends, I ain't about to tell you because I feel like you're going to go tell them once we're done with this conversation. Yep. I don't feel safe.
Quote Kevin Hart, then you got to sit there with the I ate ass face.
That's why you got to watch people, see who they around and what their company is about, because you'll turn around and do what they do. And that's, you have to really fill people out. You know, I don't want to be around somebody, even men. I know men that gossip. Men gossip too.
We try not to.
They gossip. They used to, at my job, they used to call them men.
They used to what now?
At my old job, they used to call guys Mitches that gossip.
Oh, men and bitches combined.
They was watching Real Husbands of Hollywood because that's where that comes from. They thought they thought they was cute. They not cute.
Yeah, you have men that talk and tell stuff, and you're like, what the hell? I just told you. Why are you going around telling my business? So you have to be careful, very observant. You want your person to feel comfortable. You know, what we talk about is what we talk about. It doesn't have to go anywhere else.
Okay. Let's be honest on this part. Is there a limit? Like, are you okay with your man crying in front of you?
I think that's beautiful.
Okay. For how many days?
Denzel.
Whatever it takes for him, whatever he's going through, whatever it takes.
Okay.
Because,
what if it's, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say, now what if the scenario is he lost his job. And he's tired of not being able to find the job he wants, and he just breaks out in tears. And it's been like 3 weeks he's been doing this.
That's tough. You know.
3 weeks. Oh,
well, wait a minute. Wait. You know, you got to look at what's the scenario. Was he at this job for years? How did he lose his job? So,
that makes sense. Okay.
You know, people go through things differently in life, just like grief. I can't tell somebody how to grieve. No one can tell somebody how to grieve. So if him losing his job devastated him, be with him. And it's very hard to find jobs out here today. And did he lose a promotion? Did somebody do him dirty or something like that?
To an android.
Dirty piss. Yeah, dirty piss.
Stuff like that too, because it could be depressing.
Yeah, dirty piss.
Yeah, he was smoking and he got drug tested and he lost his job.
Shit.
I'm slapping the shit out of him first.
Oh, damn. So he's going to be crying for another reason.
Yeah, he's going to be crying. Why did you do that, Harold? Why would you go?
Harold.
I'm just saying, how you always use Harold? Why would you do drugs when you know that they can randomly test you at any time? So now, yeah, you go up there. Yeah, you cry. Yeah, because he's disappointed himself. He's angry. He made a mistake. Yeah, we all human. So, you know, I can't. How you gonna get? I would get mad. Like, listen, stop crying because you knew better. But I'm not gonna say, hey, you know, just get over it. He has emotions. Men have emotions just like females. So the thing I could do is encourage him to please.
Almost.
You know, well.
See, we're taught.
You guys hide it. We show it more.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
No.
We have them. We have them, but we don't trust our feelings. We trust what we think a little bit more. We're taught to, we can have emotions, but we're taught hurry up and get rid of those feelings and get back to thinking about how to fix the situation.
Because men are not supposed to cry.
We
I
can
do.
just cry. It's
I
just like
That's how
it's
you
just
thought.
that's why I asked you about, what's the time limit?
I'll
Because
cry right now. I don't give a damn.
we're gonna be like, okay, you've been crying for 3 weeks. What have you done to fix the situation? You're supposed to be a protector. How are you gonna
I'll cry
protect when
about
you over here
anything.
crying?
Maybe he's
Yeah.
just
She
listen,
needs your
I
help.
feel like
They
man,
need your
you
help.
hurt me.
Grandma needs your help. The kids need your help. Your girlfriend needs your help.
he's disappointed
Crying
in
is not gonna help
himself.
nothing.
No, sometimes
It's not gonna help. So you just gotta
crying
find the time
helps.
to do it.
It takes a lot of you need to vent sometimes so that you don't do
Yeah.
anything crazy. So sometimes crying takes a lot of pressure off of you. That's how I encourage it. Like, cry, get it out, get the
Mhm.
frustration out before you take it out on me and the kids and ma
Right.
and grandma. So cry, walk
I can agree
away,
with
go
that.
somewhere, cry, get it out. How many times have we cried and you just be like, like it was a weight lifted off of you because you cried? So if he wants to cry because of the mistake he made, he's very disappointed in himself. He's angry. Let it out. I would rather for you to let it out than get mad at me and call me names or get
What
mad
women
at
have to
me.
acknowledge though, there is a level of masculinity that a man has to have to the way that he cries for them to accept him crying. Because I imagine this shit that Red is about to drop, this motherfucker's about to have an ugly snot nose little baby ass cry. I feel like it's gonna be some damn like if your voice cracks if you're a certain age and your voice cracks when you crying, no, you can't be
Well,
respectable after that.
Mm. You can't respect nobody after that kind of cry.
No,
Like,
now
that's
I'm
what
gonna
they cry.
be in the next room.
like I know that y'all want to see us
Baby,
cry,
you
but you don't want to
okay?
see.
Baby, it's gonna be okay. Ass cry, baby.
Mm.
Cry,
That's how Martin like give you a real Martin ass cry.
I know.
They took my job, Gina.
But you know what? I respect the man that cry. If you cry, like because you let your emotions out, you're not holding it in. I respect that. That I really do.
Yeah, but there's that point of no return. If the guy cries for too long, you said it's to help relieve some pressure, and I agree with that. But at some point, if he doesn't, if he continues crying, he'll never be able to handle pressure again. I don't think. Like, and
Well,
he'll never get back to where he was before.
He
There's
may
a
not-
point of no return.
he may
is what
not
I'm
cry a long time if he has somebody that's giving him words of encouragement.
Right.
You know, he may have
saying.
his
Yes,
moment,
yes,
but
yeah.
if you giving sweetie, listen, I know you down and everything. You're a little hard on yourself. Come on, you'll get something. When you have somebody that's talking to you and giving you words of encouragement, that might help. You know, you're right, babe. Let me get myself together. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
When you have somebody that's behind you and, you know, listen, I know you messed up. You know, these are the repercussions behind it. But come on, get yourself together. You know, it's time for you to get back on your feet. If you have somebody that's standing in your corner like that, there ain't no room for crying no more. Because, all right, you know what? You need that push. I think everybody needs that motivation push. Let me take that breath, get that last cry out. Let me get myself together.
Mhm.
You know, some people might cry longer because maybe they're by themselves. They don't have that push, or maybe they don't have that person that's helping them and like encouraging them. You know how it feels to have someone, oh, get yourself together, you dumb mother. You shouldn't have never did it at first. So that would make you
Yeah.
cry even more. Like, oh, you know.
Yeah.
So it's all about who's got your back. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Well, with guys, I don't think it's so much that we need a whole lot of avenues to relieve pressure. It's nice to have places where we can talk to relieve our pressure. But when we do experience emotions, we go to the extreme with those emotions. Women may be more emotional, but our emotions can be more powerful. And what I mean by that, and I know we talked about this one time, women can, you always hear that phrase, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, which I always say that's BS, because yeah, women do get mad and women can be vengeful, but they rarely are serial killers. Men usually ought to sit when they get mad, they can kill a whole lot of people.
Yeah, they
They're
do.
more mass murderers when it comes to men. So when men get mad, bad things can happen at a worse rate than when women get mad. So women can focus on one person they want to kill. A man can just get so angry he may kill several people.
Women going after your pockets. We can get your money. We're gonna get
Right.
we gonna get your finances.
Yeah.
I think they say that because women make you fall in love with them and can lure you into a state of vulnerability
But
to
women
express those emotions that
women
you hide
kill.
and then use them against you.
Yeah. Women kill, but it's just you look at how many more women there are on death row versus men.
Men, yeah.
Yeah.
What's wrong with
You
y'all?
do.
Why y'all be snap? You know
But
what?
you'll allow a
But
woman
you
to get
guys will go
closer
out
to
there
you
and
than you will a
cheat,
man.
right? You cheat, and y'all
Mhm.
can cheat. As soon as a woman cheat, the first thing you think of is a man that's inside of her. Oh, another man's inside of her. Now you want to snap. You want to kill the world. You
Well, that's
want
a good point. That's a
to
good
kill
point.
a cat, kill a dog, kill the roaches. Y'all want to just shoot up everything that's around, take people hostages, and but that's that person's mentality. That
Yeah.
person, something's
But,
wrong with that person. That's mental illness.
but that's not even mental. Well, you could say that.
It's
I
mental
get what you're saying. But all I'm saying is
jumping out of
that's a good point. What you're saying is look how extreme we can go on our side versus how y'all
maybe
may
y'all
not go to that
imbalance.
extreme.
Y'all
Less
imbalance.
less likely you're going to go to the extreme than a guy will. So it's important. That's why it's more important for a guy to be in control of his emotions than it is for women, because we can go to that extreme that y'all don't usually go to.
Yeah,
That's
but
why
how
it's
much in
important.
control? Sometimes it's too much. You know, you don't express
I agree.
yourself. I don't want somebody that doesn't talk and express themselves. I don't
Yeah.
know what you're thinking. You might be thinking something bad. You know,
Yeah.
you still have to be able to express yourself.
Yeah, I agree. There's a healthy medium somewhere, but that's why I just say it's just different for men and women. Why we can't express our feelings as much, not to not do it at all, but we can't do it as much because if we do express how sad we can be, it can be detrimental to society. We have to be more in control, not militant, but in control of our emotions than women do.
Right.
Women have the freedom to do that because they're just built differently. And they have more of a friendly society for women. Women can be friends with almost any woman, meeting her off the street. Men are very careful who they're friends with. As we get older, guys get older, we get less and less friends because you
We're
have to go
trying to
through
look
a
at
little
each
bit more
other as
proof that
threats.
you're worthy of being our friends. So we have less and less friends. And that's also how depression can probably seek in too, because when you get married to your woman and you move away, you are going more likely to have less friends than you had when you were in your 20s. And I'm not saying it's not like that for women too, but y'all can ingratiate yourself amongst other women easier than guys can.
That's why you gotta find couples.
Yeah, I can go with that. I can go with
You
that.
don't think you into some weird shit though if you just like go out there. Hey, we're looking for couples.
No, I mean
Where the
there's
couples
gatherings
at?
and places that you can meet. That
Where the
yeah,
couples
yeah.
at? Yeah, they do got some places that you know where.
Oh, Lord.
What you
Nah, that's called an open relationship, not open with your emotions. That's opening your legs.
That's emotion. Again, like emotion literally is just another way of saying the soul. It's our feelings. And everyone has feelings. Everyone has a soul, and that's how we as human beings express ourselves. And it just translates through a mental and a physical way of doing things. So we're completely fine expressing that we have these emotions because lust is an emotion that we can openly express. So the fact that we can express those deeper emotions, those more personal emotions with people, it says what we kind of settle for that. Like people only want men to express themselves in terms of physical aggression, sexual prowess, or being constructive in some way. If not, we're wasting that emotional turmoil that we're dealing with inside. So the primary thing we should definitely focus on is getting therapy for it, hostile and non-hostile, like get all kinds of therapy because let's be honest, the women that we partner with, because we're entering it from a less than excuse me, we're entering it in a state of not really having a safe space or ever having any safe space given to us. I'm pretty sure they don't know how to provide us one either. Like you can kind of see the way that happens with most households, most the way most children are being raised. These like we don't even have a foundation in the home of a safe space for kids to express themselves. So how can men who have traditionally, especially in the black community, not been held in much high regard,
Mhm.
be given a safe space when it seems no one has a safe space in the black community. Like on the only it seems as though the only person that has a space safe space to complain about anything in the black community is the black woman.
Yeah, I can see that because most of the time, if a man does have these type of shows and if you want to call it quote unquote complaining, you're bitching and moaning, or you
And
most
children are to be seen and not heard. Like we still keep that old rhetoric going.
yeah. I do think social media does have a strong component of why people. You can say people are probably more open than they ever been. Some things I would have to say for guys, you tell a little bit too much, and probably women too. You can say they say a little bit too much, maybe show a little bit too much. Some things should be kept in the home or kept within your confidant. Some social media has kind of ruined secrecy or not everything is made to be kept secret, but let's just, for example, I know you've heard of her. I haven't watched her whole story, but that Tisa Riso woman. Y'all seen that story?
I didn't see the story, but I heard is it about who did I marry? Something like that.
Yeah, yeah. She got a whole series on TikTok about someone she said she got scammed by, and not scammed like he just took some money. Like she scammed, got married, had a baby by him, and gave some money. And she did a whole 50 episodes on TikTok talking about this guy.
Wow, I
So
think
hold
he's
up,
trying
she
to
did
do
what
50 episodes on TikTok.
about
50.
her relationship with a scam artist? Was she the scam artist? Did he scam her out of money?
He scammed her during the pandemic, is what she said. She
Out of a
scammed her
pregnancy as
money,
well?
had a baby, and got married by this guy. And she did a whole 50 episode on TikTok.
So how did he get money from so he got her hold up. So he baby mommied her and then
Look,
he Kevin Federlined her?
basically, if I've got the story right, within 3 weeks, they moved in with each other.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay. So this is one of those where outside looking in, people say, well, you should have known right there. But I guarantee you, if you ask both of these people, well, see, you have to understand our situation. And you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a Virgo, you see. And I was told by a fort like, you know what I'm saying, we'll come up with all these justifications and reasons of why this may or these people will come up for justifications of why this made sense for them to do at the time. But when you're putting it down on paper and reading it out loud, it sounds laughable. 3 weeks of knowing each other, it takes a lot longer than 3 weeks to actually like get certified to move in somewhere.
Yeah. But don't you think and the point I was saying with this, why I think social media has kind of ruined relationships, I would say some things like this, you should only tell certain people. You shouldn't open it up to the entire world who is going to give their opinions about it. And you shouldn't listen to everybody's opinion. You should listen to someone who you trust or who is knowledgeable in these type of situations. And people will give their whole life story for the world to talk about and give their own opinions about it. And usually they listen to the wrong person when they hear that, read the comments and look at for advice. So I think social media is a big reason why a lot of relationships are ruined with that.
Social
I
media also
wouldn't.
makes a
Yeah.
lot of people think, and I'm saying this in the most like I'm not trying to be as cynical about it makes a lot of people think they are more important than what they truly are. Because you really have to believe that that the world cares enough about your particular bad choices in relationships and in partnerships to share that with the world because it's not adding to you in any meaningful or positive way. And it's not going to help you in the long run because, like you said, you're not going to a professional about this. You're literally going to average people like you and I. Some of these people don't even have a face to their profile. It's just user 102-349. Like, so you're seeking external validation from people who don't even know the full extent of the relationship. They're just getting it from you. So you're kind of just hoping that your personality, your aura, the way that you present this narrative of your life is entertaining enough to have people feel that you are justified in how you feel. And it's really self-important, it's
Yeah.
self-indulgent, and it's kind of I feel like people would rather everyone wants to feel like they can become famous by just being themselves, by just exploiting themselves. And
Sexy Red.
yeah, and we're finding any ways to do it. It used to be primarily sexual and or outright gratuitous, endorsements, but now it's
Talent.
just show us your trauma, show us what makes you weird, or
Yeah.
shit, lie about it, just do whatever, like they have this smash or pass celebrity thing where we literally just do stuff that you would do in a fucking kick chat room. Now we're doing it on the internet and recording it and putting it on video and sharing it, just having random people walk up to celebrities and the celebrities be just like, would they smash or pass them? And it's just like, what is, like, what are we doing here? Where are we at with literally just trying to seek attention by any means necessary? I'm gonna expose myself. I'm going to put myself on the line. I'm gonna record a video of me talking about the worst relationship I've ever been in, or I'm going to, bare my naked body in some way, shape, or form, hoping that someone gives me money for it. It's gratuitous, it's exploitative, and we're not again, TikTok allows it, but we don't own the vehicle of which to exploit it. So we're just generating more and more hits, more and more trends, more and more things to do, more and more, things to feed to the metaverse completely free. And it's the worst absolute image and representation of what we could be putting out of be putting into the metaverse and out of ourselves.
It's the age of relatability. And the thing with it, like I'm gonna give Cardi B for example in this situation. A lot of
Cortisol.
times, Cardi B ends up quitting social media because 3 people out of her 10,000 fans disagree with her. Why
You
not focus
lowballing
on
it
the
at
positive?
10,000. You said 10,000? You mean like
Well,
10
I'm
million?
giving an example. She probably got a million or so.
10 million. We'll say 10 million. So, but
Okay,
still,
let's say
3
10
people.
million. Yeah, and she'll go off on the 3 people that disagree with her. You're putting your relationship with what is it? Quavo? Is it Quavo?
It's Offset.
Offset, my fault. Yeah, I get mixed up sometimes.
There's only
But
2 of them
Offset,
now. So, damn,
yeah,
RIP that one.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
there go.
too soon. Offset, she puts her relationship
Uh,
on Instagram, Twitter, and talks about what he did and what he did wrong. And then someone says, "Well, why are you still with him? You keep staying with him." And she goes off on the 3 people out of 10 million. So, and then she'll quit social media. I'm like, so what were you looking for? Were you looking for advice, or were you looking for people to agree with you? Were you looking for people to preach to the choir? And it's like, why would you go on social media to do that unless you just want to feel good about yourself? You got to talk to somebody who's not biased. Your fans are biased against you. The person that you're in a relationship with, or your father, or your mother, sister, cousin, they should be able to give you advice without bias. It's
Hey,
hard for
everybody
family
on the
members,
internet,
but
people that are fans of Quavo are on the internet. Like, why don't you you know what I'm
that
saying?
too.
Like, people that don't like you are also on the internet. And guess what? They don't even have to actually know you to just
That-
act like they don't like you. So to go to the internet to seek some form, and what's also weird about it is you still have a child with this man. Y'all still have a family together. So what are you coming to the internet to talk to us about the ins and outs of your relationship for, we can't do nothing about it. Especially when, yeah, like you said, you're just going to tell us to shut the fuck up and mind our business.
Right. But people do that, and that's what I said with social media. People do that all the time. And on a smaller scale, if you go tell what's going on within your relationship with your friends, you're usually only going to tell the things you did good. And then they're going to be like, oh, yeah, you should leave him because everything you said you're doing is good and everything he's doing is bad. Of course, leave him. You're not going to mention all the things that that you did, but you got to have that one person that you can be able to tell someone unbiasedly the truth and then give you advice back. You know, and a guy, that's usually what a guy wants, not just to really express his feelings, but to have a problem solved, have something resolved without bias. If he can get that, a lot of times he will open up to you. If you ask him to express his feelings, more than likely he's going to take a step back, unless he necessarily has to. It has to be to the it has to be him going off of a cliff to want to express his feelings. But most of the time, if he wants to talk with you, it's about what he's thinking about solving an issue. If he hears feelings, it's like, oh, no, that's like kryptonite. Nah, that's a weakness of mine. I ain't trying to do that. I'm trying to figure out how to solve this issue, but feelings, no. Help me figure this crossword puzzle out. I don't need feelings to figure out a crossword puzzle.
Man, see. David, I wanted to talk to you about my feelings. Man, see. I gotta do this, see.
They don't want to talk.
We can talk. It's just a manner of how to talk. Is what I'm saying is there's a way to talk.
I'm
for you guys and a way to talk for women. You know, you can't just go to talk to a woman about, well, let's just solve this issue about everything. She doesn't always want an issue solved. She just sometimes just want to talk. Mm-hmm. And you know, we would be bad too if that's all we were to do is to try to make you think about how to solve an issue instead of just if your parent or if your loved one passed away, y'all don't want to figure out how to solve an issue right then and there. You want to just express your feelings.
Men don't talk.
Yeah, all I feel like for men, we work. I mean, we are taught to work through them. Like we literally have to work with them. Like imagine sitting outside of the pyramids. Hey man, fuck this pyramid shit, man. Pharaoh on some whole shit. Yeah, we should do something about it. No, I mean, we ain't got to do nothing about it. I just want to tell you how I just want Pharaoh to know that I don't feel like, you know, building things all the time. But yeah, we are action oriented. We literally cannot. For me personally, if I'm hearing about problems and issues, I need to solve them because talking about them is good and great, and I feel as though you should always express yourself. But once you express yourself, that vibration that you put out there vocally, it should manifest into action. You know what I'm saying? There should be some manifestation of those words that you expressed. If you said that I don't like the way things are, then you should do something to see that a change happens. You should sit down and talk. We should talk about change. Like I feel like that's the masculine form of like there should always be action involved. There should be, okay, so you don't like this, you're expressing discomfort and displeasure with this thing. So how can we change it? You're right. How like the best way, how can we fix it? How can we solve it?
Sparky T is on the show. What's going on, Sparky T?
What up, Spark?
Hey, Sparky, what's up?
Hey, how y'all doing today?
We doing good. We're trying to get a safe space going on here for the guys in here. And I'm gonna come straight to you. I'm gonna ask you what I asked Preezy earlier.
Okay.
All right. So let's just say a guy lost his job. Same scenario. He tested for dirty piss. He got caught with drugs in his piss. Lost his job. He's sad about it. He wants to come to you and express, you know, how upset he is about it. You know, Preezy's like, you know, I'm gonna give him an open space and let him cry about it. And what I asked Preezy, I was like, okay, how long do you give this guy to cry about it until you like, okay, That's enough, dude. You gotta go. You gotta go out and get this job. You gotta pick yourself up, clean your nose and your eyes, and go get this job. A day, 6 months, a year, 5 years. To get over what happened to him. What you giving? What you can give a ballpark range. You ain't got to give an exact date or nothing. But what would you say that he got to get over himself at some point?
We ain't going into the weeks. You might have some days.
Some days.
I mean, you might have some days. Like you might have some days, because I get it. Things happen. You could be in your feelings, man or woman. You know what I'm saying? If I lost my job because my fist was dirty, I'd be in my feelings too. But even in being in my feelings and crying about it, or even in him being in his feelings and crying about it, we still got to put some action behind it. Like it's okay to feel a particular type of way. It's okay to know, damn, I fucked up. I shouldn't have this. I shouldn't have that. This is where we are now. That's all well and good. But what we gonna do about it? One, so it doesn't happen again. I'm saying you're gonna have some clean piss on stash so that don't happen no more. What is your plan? You know what I'm saying? Because his piss could have been dirty because he was smoking green. I'm saying that's still a dirty piss. I mean, I'm not tripping on him about that. So I get it. You might be more upset about the fact that you got caught, or that you slipped up, or that you didn't, care more about your family than you did about smoking the blunt, or whatever it is that you're upset about. Like, I get it. It's valid. So you got time to work that out, and this and this and that. Some of what might determine how long you have is how much bread you got saved.
Okay.
You can cry as long as you can help pay these bills. I'm saying, if you got some bread saved and you moved, yeah. If you moved properly while you were working, you made good investments, you didn't squander away all your money, you got caught up at work, you lost your job, but you're prepared, because you have some savings and you can still help the household move along. Well, shit. You might can cry as long as you want, as long as you still help pay these bills, because that's the ultimate thing. We have to move forward as a family. And if you losing your job and being in your feelings is holding us up as a family, that's a different conversation than you being in your job because you lost your feelings, but we still pushing forward because even though you were smoking, you were still planning. That's different, because the sense of urgency, the sense of what the family needs when, how long we can let you cry is different in them two situations. But I mean, even if he ain't had no bunch of bread saved up, I'm gonna give him time to cry. I'm gonna give him time to cry. I'm gonna let him lick his wounds. I'm gonna be there with him. I'm gonna say we gonna talk through it. Shit, we might be brainstorming through those cries together how it can be better next time. I'm saying I'm not about to just be mad and nah, cause shit happens. And a lot of times in life, it's like we all act like nothing ever happened with us. So when it happens with somebody else, sometimes we can be rather harsh.
Yeah. Now when I mean cry, I don't mean like just complain. I mean like snot bubbles and tears for like
Yeah, I
couple
got you.
weeks. Okay.
That's why I said. That's why I said he might. That's why I said he might get some days. We ain't going to no weeks. You see what I'm saying? That's why you. Yeah, when you said 6 months or a year, shit. What? Nah. You damn sure ain't got that long. No way. In no way, shape, or form. In no way, shape, or form. Not 6 months or a year. Hell no. I'm gonna need you to get over that shit, bro. We all make mistakes. And we all, you know what I'm saying? When you make a mistake, you got to get up and do something different. I'm gonna need you to not sit in the rain and make mud pies. It's okay that it's raining. It's okay, you got a little mud on your shoes. Let's get that shit off. But to just sit there and make mud pies for months or for a year, about what happened, nah, that wouldn't fly with me. Because then I'm gonna be looking at you like, yo, you're not the dude that I thought you were.
There you
don't know
go.
how to because you don't know how to handle adversity, and you
That's
don't
what
know
I'm
how
talking
to.
about.
You see what I'm saying? That's
That's
what
what I'm talking
if I'm seeing you crying too long, I'm like, well,
Right.
damn, hold up. You know what I'm saying? All the things that we talked about, all the plans we've made, all of that. Are we going to be able to execute any of that or all of that? Because the man I was planning with was this man, and now you're exhibiting to be another man, and that's okay. We can, move with the transition or with the shift, but it still might make me have to be like, okay, I might have to revamp some of my plans because he's not going to be the person that can do this because that will cause him to cry for this long or whatever. So I might see some things where I might change some things up, but I wouldn't just leave him out there, whatever. I would encourage him to come
Yeah.
along and shit,
Yeah.
even if that means he had to work for one of my businesses for a little while. That's okay. We just need you to be working. I'm saying you can work through whatever. I'm saying we can work together. You know what I'm saying? We can go do a commercial cleaning contract together at night. We can do things that can get you working. while you still working through what it is you want to do, or the dream job you want to have that you lost or whatever. You still got to be able to be productive. It's okay to lick our wounds. We just
Right.
got to remember that we have a family that we're pulling
Mhm.
along with us, and also the children are watching us. So, what example are you setting? If you go down for 6 months or a year due to something that happened. Everything happens in life. Nothing's positive or negative. We associate that with it. So something happened, you lost your job. Instead of you looking at it like, damn, God I got a better opportunity for me. He needed me to have time to look for this better opportunity. You looking at it like, damn, I done lost my job and I did this, I messed up this, and it's all in the way you look at it. So you could lose a job. It could be the most terrible thing in the world, but if you flip it into something good, you know what I'm saying? And that's where your head is at, where your mindset is at, what you're going to be able to do with it. So for me, that would probably be a bigger concern, that you can't get out of the slump.
Yeah, and that's what we kind of. Well, my example I gave earlier is guys typically, yeah, we'll go through our feelings, whatever, but then we pick ourselves up because we generally don't like to be in our feelings because women have a gamut of emotions and it can change throughout the day. It could be sad, happy, whatever, like that, anger, whatever, and y'all can be cool with it. But guys, not saying we can't be sad, happy, and all this, but if we don't have control of our emotions, it can go to the extreme. And when I was telling Preezy earlier, I was like, there's a reason why there's more serial killers, mass murders for men than women. Women get mad and get angry and get vengeful, but you don't see a lot of women who are mass murderers, even murderers. There's not a lot of them compared to men, because if we can get too happy, we can get too angry, we can go off the deep end. So we have to be a little bit more control, and we have control of our emotions throughout the day. But the one who doesn't have control of his emotions, like the guy who is crying for days and weeks and stuff, he can go off the deep end. There's a reason why men commit suicide more, because if they don't have control of their emotions, they can go all the way to extreme. Women can be emotional and come back. They can be angry and come back, and happy and come back. Not to say it doesn't happen for women, but they don't always go to the extreme like guys do when they're very angry about something compared to men. But that's why it's taught. You see a kid, a boy, if he skins his leg, suck it up. You're crying, but yeah, it's gonna be okay. Get over it and move on. We're taught that, and some of that is nature and nurture, but that's why, because if we don't have control of their emotions, if we just crying over every skint knee after every breakup, we can go to the extreme and kill a woman, which is not warranted, which is not, we don't want that in society. But if we don't have control of our emotions, it can be deadly. So most guys, I would say, have control of their emotions, but when they don't, it could be detrimental to women and men too.
My question would be, are y'all like that? Because, and I say y'all, just in men, because coming up, you were always taught to suck it up, so you never learned how to deal with your emotions. You were
Yes,
always just chose to shut them down. You know what I'm saying? Shut them down, suck it up. So you never learn how to work through the emotions, or what that emotion may have totally felt like, or what was the safe place to be in that emotion and work through it. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes we don't know how to do it because we've never been allowed to do it. So I wonder
yeah.
if the situation with men is because we constantly tell them not to. So then when they get to where they're just so damn mad, you know what I'm saying? They turn into the Hulk and don't know what else to do, because since they was kids, they was just told to suck it up. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So they don't know
Yeah.
what else to do with it but suck it up or explode. Which, if maybe we allowed them as children to learn how to work through their emotions, some maybe when they had a bunch of emotion, the thing wouldn't be to explode, turn into a serial killer, kill a bitch. None of that. You know what I'm saying? Because they've learned how to work through. I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I'm just wondering why. If it's that, or if it's just, I don't know, kind of like the
I,
chicken before the
I can
egg, or
say
the
it's
egg
a little
before the
bit.
chicken.
I can say it's a little bit
A
of
little bit of
both.
both.
I can say you can be coddled too much, and you also can be told, all right, don't express any emotion like you were a Spartan from 300, where you're not supposed to show any pain, show any sadness at all, because you have to be tough out here because people will take advantage of your weakness. And also I was talking about earlier was even around guys, well, it's probably especially around guys, if you were to boo-hoo around a guy or you were to express yourself around a guy, he's probably taking notes like, oh, that's a point of weakness right there. Either I'm gonna use that for myself or I'm gonna tell his girl and then I'm gonna use that for myself. You know, we have to think about these little things here that y'all don't probably understand. It's conniving in a way, but for guys who are strangers to us, they're not our friends, and probably even to some people, they're friends, you have to have a level of strength around guys more than you have to do around women, but we're around guys more than we are women. We're, well, in a workplace and stuff like that, and maybe friendships outside, but when we come home to our women, we want to be, have some relief. We want to have some relief when we're around you, but we're not going to release everything, because when we work through things, when we work through problems, we want to solve them. We don't necessarily want to be in our feelings about certain things, unless we're going off the cliff, like someone died, of course. You know, we would like to be in a place where we could cry. Of course, we're also, like I said, to the extreme, to your point, we're taught to not even cry about that sometimes too. For some guys, not all fathers, all mothers teach their sons to do that, but there are some that teach them to suck it up, to be a man. That's how you have to be. That's the extreme.
I said, fuck that. When I was a kid, I was gonna cry regardless. I don't give a damn. Like, if I feel like crying, I'm gonna cry. Like, I remember one time in church, I was like 4 or 5 years old. The preacher just kept talking about how hard Jesus was dying up there on the cross, and it made me sad. And my dad was like, "Boy, you better stop that crying if I give you something to cry about." And I was like, "That's the worst thing to make me try to stop crying." And I just started crying even harder because of that, and I didn't care. I didn't care.
Because you were crying about Jesus?
And I thought I was doing the right thing. It's like the preacher was emphasizing how, and Jesus wept, and Jesus died. It's like, oh my God. Oh my
Don't be like Jesus. Don't cry. Suck it up.
Like, poor Jesus. Oh my God. Oh God. Why?
Jesus didn't really cry. What you talking about? Not my Jesus.
Like, you look up at the little crucifix. He looked sad up there. I was like, okay, so this
Well,
is
yeah.
like, he looked like it looked like this is like, if I'm supposed to love him, he definitely up here depicted crying, tears flowing and shit. Like, it definitely mentioned that in the Bible many times about the tears of Christ, tears of the Lord. So it's supposed to be something that a man can express at the ultimate form of remorse. It's a sign of, yeah, understanding and understanding, to be honest. Like, the body needs to release fluids in some way, shape, or form. Like, it's going to find a way to do that. And like I said, like, whether it be a
Piss them
mental
tears out.
Hmm?
You got to piss them tears out or sweat them out.
You gotta piss them tears out, man. I like, yeah, you gotta piss them tears out. But yeah, the that's the way the soul alleviates, you know, that's the way the soul liquidates itself. You know what I'm saying? We have to let our feelings out in order. It's like a rinse. It's literally just like what happens when it fucking rains. Well, when it rains outside.
Yeah. What's that song from what's the dude from Temptations? One of my favorite songs.
I wish it would rain, David Ruffin.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Love that song, David Ruffin.
I already know. Everybody love that song because it's David Ruffin. That's who they came to see, not
Not Otis.
Again,
Otis,
that was his name. I don't know.
I think.
I don't remember his name because I didn't go to see him. You know, Otis Williams is still alive.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. He's the only one still alive from the original Temptation.
Touring with the like still on tour. That nigga is determined to not work in a steel mill. Determined. He told his daddy that, and I ain't gonna work in no damn steel mill. And he did.
You see, all he did was just replace the members around him through the years. They've kept the Temptations going.
You have to, you know, as you do, everyone is dying around you. But like on some real shit, you want to talk about sacrificing. You want to talk about sacrificing to stay on and for immortality. Otis, William, and the Distant. Oh, my bad. Otis William and the Siberians. That was their other name. Yeah, it's like at a certain point he had to realize, nigga, stop putting your name in front of it. No one is coming to see you, Otis.
Yeah, when he saw those small crowds, I think he finally realized it.
It's like, you know what? You know what? I guess Temptation. I guess we could go with Temptations. I guess that worked. Otis William in the Temptation. No, okay. My bad. My bad.
All right. Well, keeping on this subject, I'm going to play a video from Iyanla Vanzant. I know y'all have heard of her before. She had a TV show. I think she was affiliated with the OWN network with Oprah.
I've never heard of that person a day in my life. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know you have. I know you have. Let me pop her video. Hopefully it plays this time. This stuff has been giving me hell the last few weeks. All right, let's see. I think it'll play. Let me see what we got here. Let's take a listen.
And it was DJ Kapoor, Dijon Kapoor.
It's coming. Hold on.
I think one of the greatest crimes, there are many, but one of the greatest crimes perpetuated against Black men specifically is the level to which their humanity and their hearts have been devalued, diminished, and dehumanized, and that they have become doing machines. The greatest value a Black man has, in many instances, is what he can do for somebody. Right. And how he can do it, and how much he can do it, and how much he earns doing it. I mean, I hear it and see it among young people in the relationships. You know, oh, you're gonna get my nails done, and you're gonna do this, and you're gonna do that. Right. You know, they've been demeaned and devalued and dehearted to the point where they value themselves based on what they can do. Fix it, get it, make.
Okay, so I'm gonna pop the clock on here for a couple minutes. I want y'all to tell me, do you agree with what she has to say here? Leave it or medicate. Leave it if you agree with what she has said here. Medicate it if you disagree. LT, I will go with you first. Let me pop the clock up here. Do you want to leave it or medicate it?
Yeah, I'll leave that shit. I'll leave it.
All right, tell us what you think.
What's her name again?
Ready?
That shit.
Go!
Say what now?
Pronounce her name.
Iyanla Vanzant. I hope I'm saying her name right. She's gonna sue.
Yeah, I'm a
I think it's
Google it after that.
I think it's Iyanla.
Yeah, we go. I think
It's Iyanla Vanzant.
Iyanla Vanzant.
I'm glad she getting away from Oprah.
What did I say?
Either way,
Iyanla?
I agree. She getting.
I said Iyanla, didn't I? Yeah, that's
definitely
wrong. Yeah, it must be Iyanla.
Where Sparks go. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I agree.
Are you ready? Go!
No disagreement here. I truly feel as though, especially in this younger generation, we're a lot more materialistic, we're a lot more hypersexual, and we're a lot more superficial, self-indulgent, and self-important. So we constantly measure our relationships based upon what that person is doing for me and never what we are doing for that person. And I think young men particularly who are still, trying to navigate their way through the dating pool, they have it particularly bad because they're expected to be super successful at the ages of 16, 18, 21, 25. When again, as we go back to emotions and expressing yourself, you're not even emotionally developed all the way yet. Like you're still going through life much like everyone else, and because you are a black, boom, that's a negative against you. Man, boom, that is not a inherent negative against you, but because you are a black man, it is the worst thing that you could possibly be, right next to being a black woman. But particularly in the professional field, they're not going to allow you to have the comfy desk jobs. They're not going to allow you to have the things that make obtaining money a lot easier, more interesting, and progressive for you as a person. So we are kind of overworked to the point that it's like all of our worth boils down to how much we work, how much we generate our income. And I feel bad for young men because they truly feel as though like I have to devote hours and hours and hours to work so that I can have money, so that I can enjoy my time, which isn't inherently bad. Build a great work ethic, but it's only so that they don't feel worthless. It's only so that they feel as though they have some kind of value because they have $0.000 behind their name. Oh my God.
All right. Let's see. Sorry. I'm gonna go to Sparky T next. Prezy will be back. I'm gonna go to Sparky T next. Do you want to leave it or medicated? Leave it. You agree with Iyanla, or do you disagree? Medicated.
I'm gonna leave it.
Leave it. Okay. Here we go.
Are you ready? Go!
I'm gonna leave it. I think that pretty much what she said was right. You know, I don't think that it's just though only for black men. I know that that's what she was speaking on, but I don't think that it's only for them. But I'm gonna stick to the topic. I think that I really do. I just think in society, it's about what you can do for me. I think people have been reduced to everything is about, what it looked like, what you got, what this, the hustle, this, to that, to that. That is really about if you can't do nothing for me, then it's like people don't have time for it. So people out here with the mentality that either you the trick or you doing the tricking. You know what I'm saying? And with people moving around in the world like that now, that everybody's trying to not be the trick. Everybody's trying to be the one. It's in such a way that it's about what you have, what you can get. And if you can't give me anything or do anything for me, then people move like there's no benefit in a person. And that's sad, but that's true. I agree with her on that one.
You good on it?
It's one of those. I know. I had to think about it. It's like, what do you do about it? I mean, it's even kind of like what we were just talking about with the crying thing. How long do you allow somebody to cry? And it's like, well, yeah, I'll allow you to cry, but we still have these things that we need to get done. You know what I'm saying? So it's still like almost like you're taking it back to what you can do for me. And it may not even be that I need you to do it for me. It might just be that I need you to do something. So that you're not sitting around in your head thinking about, going down a rabbit hole, whatever. But it's still sad when you think about it that really it's only about what somebody can do for somebody, that gives them not their self-worth, but their worth to other people. Everything is about what you can do for me, and that's sad.
Okay. See, Prezy, are you back? She's not back yet. Yeah, I agree with what you said. I think what's probably more sad now, and guys today don't seem to have their position fixed anymore. They don't seem to know what the position is anymore. Yeah, at some point, yeah, you don't want to be only seen as an object that can do for the other. You do want to have love reciprocated for just who you are as well. But I think guys are just out of position now because they don't feel important. That we're told a lot of times we're not important because only for what you can do for the other person, not because I just love you for who you are. And I think what we were talking about with the guy crying, after he loses his job, he should want to feel that he is important to the relationship. And I don't think a lot of guys are told that enough in today's world. Before it used to be, important. Yeah, the woman would tell you how important you are, and of course, vice versa. That's important that you tell the woman how she's important to the relationship, and that you just love her, also because of her personality and how she makes you laugh and all this other type of stuff. But it seems like today the only thing that a guy is good for is how he can provide, and at a high amount. He can't be an average guy, because we've done videos where, like, some women, not saying all, but some women, but it's multiplied when it's done on social media. But some women were saying, I can't date a 9-to-5 guy. I can't date an average guy. I'm like, well, none of the personality comes into play when you say something like that. Or none of the protection doesn't come into play when you say stuff like that. It has nothing to do with any of those attributes. It's only what he can provide financially. That's where it seems like where we are now. Not saying all women, but when you hear these type of things on social media, you rarely hear the other end where it says, I just want a guy that just is there for me for protection. It's there for me emotionally. It's there for me to help me raise the kids too. Breezy, are you back on yet? Okay, she's not back on yet, but you guys speak on it. What I've just said. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, that shit's terrible. Listen, I mean, don't get me wrong. I ain't trying to take care of no man, but I don't, you know what I'm saying? I go out here and hustle my damn self.
Yeah.
Like, one of the reasons that I go out here and work so hard, the reason why I'm out here showing houses all day, every day, you
Yeah.
know, in addition to doing armed security, in addition to trying to sell somebody a life insurance policy and notarize some papers and jump on the podcast so that I don't have to rely on nobody, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying, to take care of me, but also so that the person that's across from me, they don't look like dollar signs. I
Mhm.
don't have to worry about what you got because I come to the table with my own shit. You know what I'm saying? I want you to, we both gonna come to the table with something, but it's not just about what you have. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not about that because I don't need what you have to make my life go round. I'm saying my
Mhm.
life is gonna go round regardless to what you bring into the table financially. So with that, you know, it's a different type of dependency when you're talking about, you know, what you need in a relationship.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just I don't know. I don't know. I think
Well,
that both sides are like that now, and it's
mm,
a shame because I think it's the same way almost with men. It's about what a woman can do for them, either what they can do for them sexually, shit. Like right now, it's tax time. It's tax time. That's what it's all about. How much her tax check is. The memes is about, you know, the dudes posting up being with the chicks, you know, all that because she got her tax money. When that
yeah.
shit gone, she ain't worth nothing. He ain't think about her ass. You know what I'm saying, da da
Mm,
da 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 da. That's what we perpetuate, you know, in what we have going on in society. Not that that's how everybody moves, but that's what we keep putting out there. Like that's all we have going on in our community. And
yeah.
with that, sometimes our young people try to mimic that shit because they think that's all that the older people are doing because that's all that's put out there and that's pushed forward all the time.
Yeah,
You know
right.
what I'm
I,
saying?
I
But
agree with
everybody
you.
move like that.
I could agree with that. What was really was pushed for women usually though, it's not even financial, except for those, you know, those select few you're talking about waiting for tax season. But it's really pushed on because guys don't care about most of the time what a woman can do financially for him.
What
They
they
look,
look like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
sexually, all that.
right.
Yeah, all that.
Which is a
And with that,
horrible
that
reason.
shit is terrible. That shit
Yeah,
is terrible. Because
yeah,
yo, a lot of what's going on right now, and it's on both
yeah.
sides.
Mhm.
Because the women know that that's really all the dudes want or what it's really about. I'm saying they out shit. That's why they out here getting BBLs and a BB this and all the other shit that they doing because everything is about what it looked like, what it looked
Right.
like. But all that shit is temporal. It's gonna go away eventually. I'm saying shit starts sagging. We all get wrinkles. Niggas gain weight. You know,
Yeah,
men's damn stamina leaves. You know what I'm saying? Y'all shit start drooping, just like ours does. You know what I'm saying? But it's like
right.
everybody act like they forget that part. You know,
Yeah,
everything is about the what it looks like, what it looks like, what it looks like. We so caught up in appearances that it's like people can't get past that. And that shit is terrible. It's
yeah.
terrible. We raising
How,
the generation of
yeah,
superficial ass people
yeah,
because
you're right.
everything is about what it looked like.
How does any of that help for a relationship or long lasting marriage? Beauty. So I was like, yeah, you're right. We look, guys look for the wrong things when it comes to a relationship. Now, if you're talking about something quick, fast, in a hurry, then fine. You know, how beauty doesn't help out when you're looking for a mate for a long lasting relationship or marriage. So yeah, you're right. Totally wrong. Because I guess the old generation, which becomes the new generation, has not taught how to vet for a good woman. And on the other end, and this really, it's not like this has never been like this. It's just, it's more so now than ever before. Guys have always been, it's always kind of been what a guy can provide. Because again, nobody wants a guy to not have a job in a relationship long term. You know,
Ain't
it's not
nobody trying to go to work and his ass still sitting at home playing no video games. Ain't nobody
right,
trying to deal with that. Ain't nobody trying to do that. Not short term or long term shit.
right.
But sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say it's always kind of been that, but it hasn't been the full spectrum of what you're supposed to look for as a long lasting mate. You know, a guy vets a guy for a daughter. He wants to see if he's going to be respectful, he's God loving, he's not abusive, all these type of things. But that's what society is more so turned to, is how much can we provide? And on the other end, for women, how beautiful is she? And that's why you got, yeah, like you said, these women in their 50s and 60s, Madonna being one of them, like getting all these surgeries to tighten up their face,
Madonna
and
gross.
injections and BBLs at 60. Like, what you getting a BBL? You should be enjoying your latter years and just chilling, you know, share up there dating a 20-something-year-old guy now. You know, of course, she has surgeries at the yin yang. I'm like, you just can't even enjoy life because you're always trying to outdo the next chick. At some point, there should be a level of comfortability you should have. You know, I always heard women start to get very comfortable with themselves in their 40s, and they just enjoy life because now they realize all the bullshit they worried about in their 20s and 30s was just that bullshit.
Don't even matter. Yeah, I attest to that. Shit, I be chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, once shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm working and I be chilling. Like, if somebody ain't getting with what I got going on, guess what? Fuck them. Like, if somebody ain't chilling with how I look, they ain't, you know, I don't look this, I'm not that. Nigga, I'm almost 50. You know what I'm saying? So if you can't get with what I got going on and what I'm looking at, and I'm almost 50, shit, fuck you. You ain't the one for me. Go ahead. That's part of good. I weeded you out with because you're not gonna be the one for me. But everybody ain't like that, and I get that, and I understand that. But shit, better come on. You to stress yourself to death worrying about some shit that don't even really matter. We out here. We need to be remembering who we are and what we came here for. You know what I'm saying, but we get caught up in so much, you know, daily BS that we be knocked off our path and the things that are important. You know, get knocked by the wayside, and we out here dealing with superficial BS, man.
LT, what were you about to say? I feel like you were about to say something.
What is it? You said what?
No, I felt like you were about to say something. You were about to pop in.
Oh no, I mean, what is a man supposed like? We always talk about what a man is supposed to be, and I don't think we ever inherently disagree. Um, yet and it does get kind of a little redundant when we get to the what is a woman's role supposed to be in that. I it just yeah, it's a cycle that we kind of get caught in a lot. I just think that we have to get a better foundation of how our we have to better get a foundation of how our families are created, so that the value that so that values are earlier imprinted in young men to be providers, and it's not something that they begrudge as they're being told they're bums as though they're not. Because as I said, so many young men are caught in this cycle of I gotta put in extra hours at work. Everyone's trying to chase the bag. Everyone's trying to run the bag up, and they dedicate so much time to doing so, and they don't have the proper values of which women are actually deserving of the income that you've accumulated over that time that you've been dedicating to your job. We spend it on the women with the fat asses. We spend it on the women that have their titties out all over social media because they tell us that if like there are women that literally tell young men, or I mean, they're all young, whatever the fuck. Like I would obviously swipe whatever the fuck away from these motherfuckers, but you're telling me I have to send you $100 to your Cash App before I can even slide into your DM to converse with you. Like for me, just for the values that I founded, or I had to learn that I wanted to build a relationship on. I don't want a person like that. If I literally have to pay just to converse with you, that's prostitution or escort or call girl, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? That's not something I feel as though I can build a positive emotional bond off of. So, but we have young men that will literally still okay, well, honestly, this is the easiest way. You know what I'm saying? Because they might have some things that they do want to discuss. That I wish I was closer with a female presence because I have some things I want to talk to women about that I can't talk to my mother about, or I can't talk to my sister about, or I can't talk to the girls in my family about. And I do think men and women would definitely benefit from having platonic relationships with each other, just platonic male and female relationships with each other. But again, men aren't allowed to truly express that emotional part of themselves because we are supposed to maintain this facade of always being together, whether it be mentally, physically, or financially. We're always supposed to have it together, and that's something that I just learned to, I was one of those kids. I had imaginary friends. So if I'm going through some emotional turmoil, all my imaginary friends about to hear about. I would line up my toys in a fucking straight row. It's like Woody, Optimus, Red Ranger. You would not believe what the fuck my mom was on today. Like
You got a Woody toy?
I always found an avenue for myself to express because the first place you have to feel comfortable is with yourself. A lot of young men have things that they aren't comfortable admitting to themselves yet. And I don't know exactly how to get them to be comfortable doing that. It's honestly something that the people they look up to would have to get them to be comfortable doing. You know what I'm saying? You would have to get Lil Wayne to make a song about opening up and expressing yourself. Kind of like Dr. Dre did that one time, about expressing yourself. But they don't make music like that anymore. These
Yeah.
kids don't read anymore.
Yeah. That's probably why we got most of our ideals today is hip hop videos.
It
You
is.
see,
That's
I'm
why
thinking,
we're so materialistic. That's
yeah,
why these young boys feel like bums if they don't like Chief Keef blew up when he was 16. And
yeah,
there are young men that literally hold themselves to that standard. Damn, I'm 22 years old and I ain't did shit with my life. You're only 22 years old. You haven't even gotten to life yet. You know what I'm saying? Like you could still go to school if
Right.
you hadn't had a chance to do that yet, for real.
made me think about what the first video popped in my head was what Big Papa. That's what popped in my head first, being young, rich, and a millionaire, and people guys pouring Cristal all over the girls and stuff like that. It's like, dang, man, I want a life like that. How do I get that? Do I got to sell drugs or make a classic hip hop album? How can I get to that life?
And those aren't women that you respect
Yeah.
because you're pouring a possession over women that you see as possessions. So that teaches you already as a young man. They're not pouring champagne on librarians. You know what I'm saying? They're not pouring champagne
Sexy
on
librarians.
on good mothers. They're pouring champagne on half-naked, big booty, big titty women.
Yeah. Well, who actually added on to that is Dame Dash, and he kills me that everybody got to be a boss. Now, everybody is not
Even
meant
his
to be a
bum ass
boss.
regrets that now.
It-
Shout out, damn.
yeah, you don't have to be a boss to have a successful life or have a great life. Everyone's not meant to be a leader. Everybody's not meant to own a Fortune 500 company. Hell, right now he can't even say that because shoot, he's got filed for bankruptcy. He just got to sell. He has to sell his last share of Rockefeller now, which Jay-Z may be actually purchasing coming up now. But he's struggling to keep his head above water right now. So he ain't even doing too good in the boss field. That's the mentality that even with t-shirts, I've seen t-shirts for women that say boss bitch and stuff. I'm like, first of all, why are you calling yourself a bitch? Why are you calling yourself a boss bitch? Everybody don't have to be a boss. You can follow the leader. You can lead at some point. Maybe you can lead in your household, but you don't have to own a company.
Yeah, a boss isn't
It's
the
not
same
meant for
thing as a
everybody.
leader too. We shouldn't
And
confuse those. A
yeah,
boss and a leader are not the same thing. A boss just tells people what to do. Leaders, you are an example. That's the main way of which a leader is supposed to
yeah.
lead. You don't just lead people by telling them what to do. You are the example of which people look to see what should I be doing. Ah, there they
But
go.
I think this has hurt guys a lot because they look at this and then they try to reach for the stars for everything. And it's like, well, you have to own your own company. Everybody's not meant to own their own company. And when they think they have to do this, they are not qualified to do it and they end up going back to where they start off at the beginning, is working under somebody. And then they feel bad about themselves because they think a woman doesn't want you because you're not the boss of something. That type of mentality that came from the 90s and Dame Dash and stuff has ruined a lot of guys, I think.
I could see how it does. I do think people have the potential to be their own bosses. I think everyone has the potential to be their own boss, but again, back to core values and the foundations of which you're trying to be your own boss. If they're coming from a fucked up, skewed place, then you're wanting to build income, and wealth is coming from a place of negligence. Of I just want to be wealthy so that I can pour the champagne on the hose. You're not going to be wealthy. You're not going to be rich for long. You're not going to sustain your income. So it's the foundation and the values of which you try to, you try to become that doesn't work out for people. A lot of people feel like because they just don't want to work for someone else, that means, well, I must have be in charge of other people then. But no, you're not. You have terrible people skills. You aren't punctual, you communicate poorly, and you're unprofessional. But simply because you didn't want to work for no one else, you thought that you were supposed to be your own boss. No, your value was fucked up. You just don't know how to take orders. You were just undisciplined, unmotivated, and unenthusiastic about the work you do. That's usually when we just need to take time off and really do some soul searching. Find your purpose. Like everyone, again, you can be anything you want to be, but it takes more than just saying, "All right, I'm about to do that."
Let's just be honest. I've worked with quite a few guys that worked at some places like Lowe's and stuff like that, or construction sites. They view working under somebody as a slave mentality. Like, I ain't no slave. This ain't the 1800s. I'm like, no, you're just holding a job down. You're paying your bills. There ain't nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of guys I've talked to, and they will talk like, oh, he can't talk to me like that. I ain't no slave. Like, dude, he just gave you directions of what you're supposed to do on the job site when you get here. You're getting paid for this. We have, not us, but there's a lot of men, a lot of black guys that have that mentality of, oh, I'm not going to be nobody's slave. I'm going to be a boss. Everybody not meant to be a boss. I don't think everybody has an ending to be a boss. Some people should be just okay for working under somebody and just making a good living. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's why it's a stupid mindset, because how are you going to be a boss? Because wouldn't your employees have that same mindset of, I shouldn't, I appreciate you hiring me, but I'm not about to do what you say because I ain't nobody's slave. Like, you should, if that's how you think, Mr. Boss, you should probably give your employee a raise because he tells you he's not about to do, you see how that argument kind of collapses on itself.
Owners have, you could really say owners are more slaves than the people that work under them. They have to work for the people more than the people who work under them have to work for the people. They have to answer to more people.
Boss. That's the thing. A lot of people that decide to be their own boss and go into business for themselves don't have that skill, because that is a trait. In order to be a boss, in order to be the owner of you run an organization, you have to have good people skills.
I have to answer to more people where I work with. Sparky, do you have to answer to more people in your position than the people under you have to answer to? Because you got to answer the people who deliver to you.
No, I
You
know
have to
what you're
answer to your
saying.
employees.
I was going to say, I think that as a boss, as an owner, you have more responsibility. It's heavier to
Yeah.
me because you got more people depending on you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not just working for me. Yeah, I'm working for me, but I also realize that the moves that I make affect the people that work for me, with me, and things like that. It's a lot of it can be a lot of responsibility on your shoulders.
That's a
Like when I
burden.
used to own a construction company, that was a lot because we used to have a lot of sub crews underneath of us. So lots of times I wouldn't pay myself to make sure that my sub crews got
There
paid,
you go.
because you would have 100 families eating off of what you doing. When you got, another company and then their crews, and when you start thinking about it, it's 100 people eating off your back. That's a lot when you go to sleep at night, because it's like, yo, I got to do this for me and mine, but I also got to do it to make sure that the other people are able to. It's a lot. A lot of people don't go into business though with that mentality because everybody thinks you just going in to be the
Having a good
boss.
time.
You just collecting the money.
Yeah,
I don't gotta work because I don't. You work more a
like
lot
you
of
running
times
numbers.
when you yeah, because listen, when people have a job, when you have a job, you're gonna get a paycheck. It's somebody else's job to sign that check, to stroke a check for you every Friday or every other Friday or 2 times a month or once a month, whatever your pay schedule is. But when you working for yourself, listen, if I don't rent or sell no houses, guess what? Ain't no money coming from no real
Mhm.
estate venture. I could show 1,000 houses, but if don't nobody sign on the dotted line to rent it or to sell it or to buy it, guess what? All my showing was in vain. My gas was in vain. All that, all the days I put into it was in vain. If you don't ever get the payday, because I do it for myself, but if
Mhm.
I was doing it for somebody else, I would be getting paid every time I'm going to do a showing, or I would be getting paid hourly. You know, so it's totally different. It's totally different. It's a way different. It's a different mindset, but you got to get there to understand that. From the outside looking in, it look like people just be chilling. It's
Yeah.
crazy. One of my sons tell me that all the time. He be like, "Yo, people be around you and they really think that you don't work." And I've watched people try to do what you do, and I've watched them fall on their face because they all be trying to chill the way you
Yeah.
chill. They don't understand you constantly working. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
The success rate
yeah,
for a business is very low. It's lower than
yeah.
divorce. I'll say
Especially the first 5 years. Yes,
that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
People don't
man.
understand that. And like, like, how come you don't never hang out? Well, you never go out in the world. How come you don't ever answer the phone? Yeah, I'm busy. I don't have, well,
Busy.
but you own your own business. And don't you make your own time? Yeah and
Yeah,
no, but I have to make my time for the people that I work for as well as you. If I fail, it ain't like if you're an employee, you get fired, then you fail in your family. You're a boss, you fail in your family, you fail in the people above you, you fail in the people you got delivered to, you failing for
yeah,
hundreds or thousands of people, depending on how big your company is.
yes. And that's a lot.
The
That's
IRS,
a
you can
lot.
fail in too.
Listen, I owed the IRS $96,000 one year because we
Oh,
made that many. We made that in 1 year. Let me tell you something. You know what the stress is like when the IRS send you a bill for $96,000? That's
jeez.
a different type of stress, but that's how many millions we made that year. I'm
Damn.
saying now, granted, we took that tax return and went to another accountant, and they did some adjustments, and the 96 got knocked down to 32.
That's a
I'm
big
saying, and
deal.
when it got knocked down to the 32, I was like, yo, we stroking a check right now. I don't want to owe the
That's a
IRS shit.
word.
Write a check. We writing a check for it today. You know what I'm saying? But even in that, it's a blessing to be able to write a check like that day for the IRS. But yo, that is a stress to owe the IRS almost $100,000 for 1 year, yo.
Yeah,
Like
you can't
that's
look.
that's it's a lot that come with that. No, you can't go hang out. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna make this next damn tax payment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not answering my phone. I'm worried. I'm thinking you might be the IRS calling. You calling from another number. Like that's some hella stress to have on you. In addition to trying to make sure your people are, you know, eating,
Pay.
your kids are
Yeah.
progressing, all of that, that's a lot. It's a lot. That's why a lot of
Got
businesses fold and stuff like that. They, a lot of times people not in a position to deal with that tax liability. Now you done made a lot of money the first year or the first 2 years, but now you get a slave again because now you indebted to the IRS. And you're gonna pay them. You're gonna pay them
mhm.
now or you're gonna pay them later. But either way, you're gonna pay them. So if you
Yeah.
didn't prep for that when you were making all that money, paying your taxes quarterly, or having a good, accountant and bookkeeper and stuff to keep your numbers intact, then now you in the hole, and now all over again you still working for somebody else. You might own your own business, but at the end of it, you still all your energy is going to pay this off. So you get still working for somebody else.
Yeah. You gotta stop doing your taxes at TurboTax, Sparky. I told you about that.
Oh, I didn't do. Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
I'm
yeah,
kidding with you.
yeah, yeah. I know you messing, but you know what you do have to do. You also got to stop trying to use your people.
Oh, word.
Like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. You have one accountant. You try to deal with your people. you know, whether that's the people of your race or whether that's family or whatever. But
Yeah.
sometimes that sense of, you know, of dual responsibility, you know, trying to help can get you in a bind. And so,
Mhm.
hey, that, you know, so, you know, that can be part of it too. It may not be TurboTax, but it might be,
Right.
you know, trying to use Shanae, you know,
That's
cause
yeah.
that's your people, whatever, and da 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 da. She might be qualified. She might know how to do taxes. You know, it might be something that's on a different level though. She might not know all the ins and outs of these write-offs. She might not, you know, whatever. So sometimes you got to get a second opinion. You know, I do that in a lot of things, not just in medical. On them taxes, I did a second opinion, and somehow the second opinion was just a little bit better. And the IRS let me rock with that. So the second opinion we went with.
That's what's up. All right. Let's move to the next subject. This is a dating no-no question or a statement or story I'll go with. And there's going to be a question at the end about how this dating couple are proceeding with maybe a future relationship. Let me pop it up on the screen right quick. We're going to read it out. Okay, that's a little bit small. Okay, here we go. So two people are dating, and the woman mentions that she is saving sex for her husband, and the guy is cool with that. Then he mentions that they should always go Dutch for dates because he is saving money for his wife. The woman points out that it's not cool that he not take her on dates just because she doesn't want to have sex. He mentions that's not the case at all, but clarifies that just like sex, finances should be reserved for marriage. Is he wrong? All right, so we're going to do a leave it or medicated on that. All right, Preezy, you back? We got you. Oh, you're on mute there.
Okay.
Okay. So leave it if you agree that hey, if she's withholding sex during these dates, that he's in his right to withhold finances and ask them to go Dutch until they get married. If you agree, leave it. If you disagree what he says, medicate it. What would you like to do?
Let me hear it again because I stepped away.
Okay, I'll pop it, make it big on the screen again. Hold up. Right. All right. So it says two people are dating, and the woman mentions that she is saving sex for her husband, and the guy is cool with that. And then he mentions that they should go it's spelled here, that they should always go Dutch for dates because he is saving money for his wife. The woman points out that it's not cool that he does not take her on dates just because she doesn't want to have sex. He mentions that that's not the case at all, but clarifies that just like sex, finances should be reserved for marriage. Is he wrong?
Oh God, it's tit for tat.
So leave it if you agree with what he says, or if you disagree, medicate. You're praying about it.
I just think that I'm gonna disagree with him. It's
You just okay.
that.
Let's tell us why. We're gonna pop the clock up here for a couple minutes. All right, here we go.
Ready? Go!
Obviously, I don't think they're on the same page, so they really shouldn't be together. This is gonna be real short. They shouldn't be together. They clashing already. She wants to wait for sex until she's married, and he doesn't agree to that. So he figured, okay, well, since I gotta wait, then I shouldn't pay for anything because I'm trying to pay for somebody who's gonna be my wife. It's a game. I feel he's tit for tatting, and she needs to find somebody that's on her that's thinking the same way. Maybe she needs to find somebody that agrees to the marriage thing. Okay, let's both wait. Obviously, he's not the one. And I don't know if you could compare sex with finances, but that's just his revenge. Okay, so since you won't want to have sex with me, then I'm not going to pay for anything. So it's a tit for tat thing, and no. I don't think she should be with him. She needs to find somebody that maybe is religious, or not necessarily religious, but is on the same level with her. And that's it. That's not going to work. It seems like a tit for tat. So I don't want to be with someone who's tit for tatting. So she should just move on. That's it for me.
That's it for you. Okay.
Yeah, because it's childish. I mean, if she's saying I want someone that I want to wait, then and he doesn't agree, then they don't belong together because they're not thinking the same things. So why put yourself through that?
Well, I mean, the only thing I'll say is if it's tit for tat, he just wants to see the tit. That's why he wants. That's why he don't want to pay. He wants to see the tit, and he wants to tat that ass. That's why.
I guess so, but she don't want it, so
She don't want it. She ain't gotta have it.
right. She gotta find somebody that agrees to what she's looking for. Same thing with him, though. Same thing with him.
Okay. All right. All right. I'll come to Sparky T next. Sparky T, do you leave it? Do you agree, leave it, or disagree? Medicated with what he said.
I'm actually gonna leave it.
She's gonna leave it. Tell us why.
Are you ready? Go!
I think that the way it was worded was a little, but I really kind of think that what he was saying was true though. Just like if you're gonna abstain, you know what I'm saying, from sex until you're getting married, I don't think that there's anything wrong with withdrawing, holding immense amounts of money, until you get married. I think, on both of them, they both wanting to, wait, until they're fully committed to give whatever it is they're giving. But do I think that you shouldn't pay just because? I don't think that you shouldn't pay because you're not having sex. I think that you shouldn't be paying for extravagant things because you're trying to save your money for your wife, for your marriage. You know, I don't think that it's because of that, but I still think that they're both good principles, if that makes sense. I don't think that there's anything wrong with withholding your money for because of that. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with not having sex until your marriage. I still think that it's I think that what Preezy was saying is kind of tit for tat to not pay for things because you're not having sex. But I still think that it makes sense and what he was saying makes sense, if that makes sense. Uh, it sounds kind of how could both be true, but I really do. I think that I really do. I don't think that if you not married, like okay, you know how when people be together and it's kind of like he's supposed to pay her bills, pay this, do that, and it's like, well, damn, they're not even married yet. Why is he supposed to do all of that? Why can he not wait until they're married to provide all of that? The same way that she's waiting, but I don't think that it should be because of, but I think that both principles are correct. Shit, for that matter, he could be having sex with the woman and still not paying extravagant stuff because he's trying to hold his, long money for his wife. It doesn't have to be a tit for tat thing, but I don't think that there's anything wrong with a man not going full throttle with his bread if he not married to her because y'all haven't made that long term commitment yet. I don't think that there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. All right. Let's see. LT, would you like to leave it or medicate? Leave it if you agree with the guy on his dating prowess, or medicate if you disagree.
I'll leave it.
He will leave it. Tell us why.
Are you ready? Go!
Well, in the post, he said that he was cool with her not wanting to have sex until marriage. So, and it said going Dutch. So it's not that he's just making her pay for everything. She just has to pay for her portion, which I feel like is fair. Both people, if everyone has a job, everyone understands the concept of working hard for your money and not wanting to waste it. Just like this woman has come to the understanding that my sexual energy is powerful and I don't just want to waste that on every man. I want to save that for my husband. Honestly, sex is important, but a marriage, a romance, as my mother always told me, there is no romance without finance. So these finances are just important, and that's why you want me to, show you that I am capable of, of dispersing them on this date. That's cool. We can do that. I can definitely pay for myself, and I like I said, I don't think. Well, I didn't say, but I don't think it's a a petty tit for tat kind of thing. Because if she's establishing her boundaries that she's not comfortable having sex with someone she is just casually dating, a man should be able to express his boundaries with not just spending all of his hard-earned money on a woman that he is just casually dating, and they don't know if they're going to get past the casual dating stage. And I don't think it's just, well, if you're not giving me this, I'm not giving you this. But it kind of started that way. I'm not doing this. Okay, that's cool. I'm okay with that. Like it kind of comes off. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Kind of comes off as it sounds like it's tit for tat, but obviously, if he doesn't pay for something, that's going that it seems as though the whole dating process is off of the table. So kind of what we were saying earlier, it makes a man feel as though I am measured by my financial worth.
Which is actually true for a lot of cases. It almost sounds like though too, he's also paying for sex in a way.
A little bit, yeah.
Which in a way, yeah, he is. I mean, if
At
he
some
were to
point,
go on a
yeah.
date and sex is the reason why they continue dating after he pays for it, it kind of sounds like he's paying for sex. But we
'Cause
also
if he is
have to
married and
remember,
make a child, like eventually,
Right.
sex is going to be an important part of it.
we also have to remember there was a point in history, back in the 1900s, for those who were around that time. Not saying anyone's age, but there was a time where dating did not exist. There was a time where you looked for to see if that person could be a provider, and there was no dating. You saw if he was a provider, and then you were going to see if you were going to get married, and that's when you had sex. That's the only time you had sex. It was
Sex.
you were a high valued woman if you had not had sex yet. Your virginity was a huge thing at one point. So no one went on dates. You just got vetted from her and from the father, or if he's there, the mother of the house, and she saw if you were a good fit to have kids and build a generation of kids and build wealth within each other. So there was no such thing as dates. Dates, what is the date for? A lot of times, if a lot of
Yeah,
people
that is
just go
kind of
on
like a
dates
modern
and
thing we just started
Yeah.
doing.
a lot of people just go on dates just to see to have fun,
Just think
to
about it.
see if they
Teenagers
can
didn't
have
have that much
a
freedom.
good time with each other at not Barnes and Noble. Maybe Barnes and Noble, people go to Barnes and Noble, but Dave
I
and
go-
Buster's. That's what I was trying to think of. People go to Dave and Buster's or go to classy dinner dates and stuff like that, and then that's the end of it. And the woman gets something out of the date, and he doesn't really get anything except for, I guess, maybe a good time having conversation.
Because
But that's
as we always go
used to
back
be
to it, dates were primarily for the wealthy 1%. The debutantes, the dukes and the duchess. It was the balls, the shit that Cinderella was going to, or the shit that Cinderella wanted to go to, but because she was a part of the poor ass working class, she wasn't allowed to go to. So dates really were a thing that kings, queens, and royal nobles would do in their spare time. And as the industrial revolution kicked up in the 1900s, and people began to generate more wealth for themselves, it's something that the average everyday citizen was able to start doing. Hey, Mr. Working Man, now that you got some money, don't you want to take your wife out in one of these new fancy automobiles? Don't you want to take her out to one of our new fancy dining restaurants? Give us that money that you worked so hard to get. Give it right back to us. And they would use our women to get us to buy things. Like that's when you start seeing Tiffany's and Zales and all these diamond companies pop up with the ever famous slogan, "Diamonds are a girl's best friend." You know what I'm saying? They created a materialistic need and a consumeristic need within women to want to be with men that had large bank accounts, because don't you want some diamonds? Don't you want some pearls? Don't you want this nice dress and this nice car and these nice shoes? Well, you need a man to buy it for you, bitch. So you got to be pretty. You got to learn how to bake. You got to learn. And that's when home ec was implemented into the public school system. Home ec and sewing.
I will say though, only thing I guess the plus side with dating is you would get to learn the person that you're actually talking to on an emotional level, on a soulful level. It just was different back then. It didn't really matter too much what your
Started doing that
personality
again.
was. It's just about how you could build a generation to make them richer for the next generation, how to build up the farm, how to build up a business. And no one does that at all now. It's probably the detriment now is no one does that at all now. They just are looking for a fleeting moment. So the man's only looking maybe for sex, and she may be only looking for a good date, a one night date, and that may be it because she may be moving on to the next guy. So no one's looking on for anything long term with the way the dating world is set up now.
Because the internet keeps telling us that there's somebody else out there that is, you know, what we want without us having to be exactly what they want. Like men for some reason feel like I don't need to be in a relationship because all these women are this particular way nowadays. Women feel as though they don't need to be in a relationship because all these men are this particular way nowadays. But we're truly getting this information from either people like Carisha, people like Cardi B, who allow us into their negative, toxic ass relationships only to further their own self-indulgence and self-importance, and the memes and the shit that we scroll through, these videos that we think are real couples having actual disputes, but it's just two people trying to get some, you know, trying to get some buzz off of a fucking video, some shit like that. We literally let everyone else lead us in terms of what we should be doing professionally, romantically, financially, and because we just weren't given the tools to do it ourselves, and a lot of that was purposeful in, you know, our public school system. You know, they didn't that our curriculums were not created to create free thinkers or thinkers that would you know, be more than just workers for Walmart or UPS or McDonald's or insert distribution center here.
I can agree with that. Oh, you guys have anything else to say about it before we move on? Crazy Sparky T.
No, I'm good.
Good.
I'm good too.
Okay, well, we'll move on to our last story. Let me try to get this one picture uploaded because it's very important for the story. Right, here we go. All right. See, I don't know if it was LT or Sparky T who put this story in. Let's see. It was about. Let me pull it up again. I just had it up here. Okay. All right. So there was a. Let me actually get the picture first, so we can go with the picture when we do this. Say it's important to have this up here first when we start talking about it. Okay. All right. Here we go. This here, the black teenager in, let's see, Texas, suspended for his dreadlocks. Let me see. Let me make sure I got this. This is the right one.
You're
I'm trying to make sure this is the right one. Thought it was in somewhere else. Okay. Black teenager in Texas reportedly has been suspended for his dreadlocks. Let's see. Will get his date in court Thursday in a case that advocates say has broad implications for racial hair discriminations. Daryl George has been in in-school suspension for months after Barbers Hill High School said his hair violates policy. His family sued, saying the school's regulations go against Texas' newly established Crown Act. Ali Booker, George's attorney, says the case ties into a larger movement regarding discrimination of minority groups as a whole. The case is based on a section in the school handbook that contains a rule stating male students cannot have their hair past their eyebrows or earlobes. This is why the picture is important. Hold on, let me add. Okay. George wears his dreadlocks on the top of his head, away from his face and neck. Victoria Kirby York, director of public policy and programs at the National Black Justice Coalition, said Texas's law highlights the importance of cultural hairstyles, but does not take into consideration the gender expression component. Barbers Hill High, she said, was able to opt out of the policy by saying it did not apply specifically to the hair length of male students. They're saying that this isn't about the African heritage. This is about the length of the hairstyle, and that the length is inappropriate. But when you ask the question, why is the length inappropriate? The answer is because it, and let's be clear, the length is only inappropriate for boys, York says. For years, there have been efforts to get a national version of the Crown Act, which prevents racial discrimination based on hairstyles, through Congress, but they have been unsuccessful. The White House said in 2022 it strongly supports the Crown Act legislation and that the president believes that no person should be denied the ability to obtain a job, succeed in school or the workplace, secure housing, or otherwise exercise their rights based on a hair texture or hair style. Okay, so let me pop that off here. So I don't know who put that video or that.
That was me.
That was you? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just going to put 2 minutes up here. It's not leaving it medicated, but just to give your initial statement, what do you think about this particular issue here with the Crime Act and the young man that was suspended for his locks?
Are you ready? Go!
I think it's a damn lie that they're saying it's not a racial thing. 'Cause what's funny about it is we live in a time where it would be a lot easier for this little boy for this young man, let me not call him a little boy, for this young man to want to change his gender. We live in a time where it would be much easier for this young man to decide, hey, I'm a girl today. And people would be much more accepting. People would be much more open and much more supportive of his struggle if he was being persecuted. But because he is a young black male, and it's funny that you popped in the that council culture thing, because Dr. Umar and Nick Cannon just did a sit down this morning on it. Good brother, Dr. Umar. And always going back to the prison or the school to prison pipeline that is specifically set up for black boys and black girls. And this is a way in which they target us, because they're not going to do this to a Native American person that comes in with a feather on their head. They're not going to do this to a Hindu person that comes in with a dot on their head. They don't do this to, I mean, they did this, especially during 9/11, and very telling of the time that they did this. They did this to Muslim children when they would come to school with their hijabs on. It's very telling that they always want to directly attack the ways in which we express ourselves that connect us to our heritage and our culture. And to say that, well, it's just not the length that it should be for a boy, that's sexist. That's plainly sexist. And I get it. This is Texas. So should I just say, well, that's Texas. They're far behind, but it's 2024. They're still a part of the United States of America. So they need to get on board along with everybody else. If we can accept that children want to cut off their genitals and become the different gender, we should be allowed, or young black boys should be allowed to wear their hair however they choose to.
Okay. Preezy, I'm gonna come to you next. Tell us what you feel about this story.
Are you ready? Go!
I always thought it was a problem, you know. I don't think anything is wrong with his hair. I mean, everybody wears their hair different. As long as he had it up, I didn't see it being a problem. You know, I think it's wrong. You know, if that's the way he wanted, I can understand they have their rules, but according to the picture, he wasn't covering his ears. It looked decent, so it's not fair. You know, you have a lot of kids, they wear their hair different ways, whether it's spiked or whatever, they have it. You know, it's not right. I think as long as it's neat and it looks decent and it's clean and they have no right to tell him how he should wear his hair, especially if he's following the rules, like it's not past whatever or hanging out his back, whatever. Leave him alone. You know, that's basically it.
Okay. All right, Sparky T, I'll let you go next on that. Tell us what you think about this story.
Are you ready? Go!
I think that clearly it has to do with with race. I think that they're trying to backdoor it, of course, and make it seem like it doesn't, but I think that it does. I think that he shouldn't have to cut his hair. Um, I don't think that anybody should have to cut their hair, whether your hair is long or short or whatever. That doesn't make you productive, any more productive or any less productive. Um, and even like Trent said, we can be okay or get on board with somebody changing their sexual gender or changing their gender or whatever, but we can't get on board with somebody growing their hair out. Like, what make that make sense? It's just that it doesn't make sense. It's like the things that we, choose to go to battle over sometime or mess with. It's like, come on. Like, come on. If he's in school and not, creating a ruckus, even if he is creating a ruckus, his damn his hair, you know. But I think he should have the right to leave his hair however he wants to. And especially for them to leave him in ISS for months because he won't cut his hair. Like, come on. He should be able to have his hair however he wants to have it. And I think it's definitely an attack against us. And it's crazy that they have a whole act against it, with the Crown Act and whatnot, and they're still allowed to, try to circumvent it and still do what it is that they're trying to do, even though there's supposed to be, a law in place to protect us. We know that that hasn't historically, worked like that, but still a shame that in 2024, we still in a place that the laws still aren't protecting us, even when, they're in place. It's like they just don't apply. It's always it can be applied or unapplied, whenever somebody sees fit, and that's a shame.
I saw in one of the articles where, and I don't know if this is a particular school, but there's a study where they say, the schools that, and I'm guessing this is more so private schools that have a level of uniformity, where everyone is dressed the same and following the rules of such and such, they tend to test higher and such. And I could agree that that is something that is actually true. I'm sure that's why they do this type of things like this in the army and the military. The thing I have a problem with, I mean, besides the boy did follow the rules. I mean, his length of his hair was not past his earlobes or his neck. The problem I have is, and I think they have a problem with that, is they don't respect a person with dreadlocks as being a natural or a just a normal hairstyle as a crew cut. They think it's something wild, like someone who has spikes in their hair, which is wild for, I think, a white person to wear if they were in a school. I think that's a wild hairstyle. And I think they think the same thing, that dreadlocks or braids is someone trying to go buck the system and go against everyone that goes to that school. I think that's the mentality. That's the problem. I don't think there's a problem, so to speak, is saying, oh, okay, everyone's going to have their hair length to be a certain length if everybody has to follow it. But as you can see, like I said, that isn't the problem, because his hair is not even going past his earlobe. He's got it tied up. I just think they don't like the hairstyle, period. If it was shorter than it was now, I think they would have a problem with the hairstyle. And I think they were looking for little hidden clues to find within the Crown Act to make the boy try to cut his hair. And I don't think he should have to cut his hair. I think it's a cultural problem with a black person's hair, whether woman or guy, that they have a problem with, because we also know this is a workplace thing. It didn't even have anything to do with length of hair at one point. You just could even have dreads at one point in a workplace, because they didn't think that was a respectable hairstyle. They wanted women to
Color your hair,
to put chemicals in their hair to straighten their hair, or to always hot comb their hair. You never could have a natural hairstyle. Now, of course, we don't want you to go to work with your hair not combed or brushed into place and stuff like that. I understand, because you have to do customer service and you want to look respectable. But the problem they have is what's culturally respectable for us should also be culturally respectable for you too, outside of black people. That's my thing on it. I don't think it has anything to do with length of hair.
Yeah, because You would literally have to see his hair all the way undone and let it be unkempt for the length to be a problem. And unless it's inhibiting his ability to learn in class, it's fucking up the other children from being able to learn in class. I don't get why he was and again, like, to put him out of class for 6 months because of something like hair, and to let it get all the way to a level where it's now a court case all over a child's hair. The immediate thing uh that it teaches children is that any form of, cultural expression, any form of cultural self-expression is going to be met with immediate resistance from people who do not understand our culture.
Hmm. And how do we go about changing that? Is that something?
Oh,
Do
we
we
go
have?
about changing about that by not giving a fuck. Continue to wear your hair in dreadlocks, wear your hair as natural as you possibly be, because it is damaging to put chemicals into our hair. It is damaging
Mhm.
to, and that's just on a physical and chemical level, but on a mental and psychological level, to always have to, code switch and change who you are so that you can be perceived as acceptable by people or society that inherently is flawed, by a society that inherently has, skewed and fucked up values, but we're trying to adhere to them just so we don't bring ourselves any extra discomfort as black people. Like, we have to kind of move forward in the face of that fear, or move away from these institutions, because I don't think Texas is going to change their laws on this anytime soon. We either get more active on a local, county, and state level in our legislature, because this act was able to be passed right under black people's noses. How many black people live in Houston, in Dallas, Warren County? Like, how many black people live in all of Texas, but this law was able to be passed right under their noses? Like, all the laws that they're passing in Mississippi to pretty much bring Jim Crow back into existence. All of these things are happening at the local and state level, but we are not paying attention to them because we think voting is something we're only supposed to do once every 4 years for
Mhm.
one position.
And this is a public school. This isn't a private school, so they couldn't make their own rules. But this is a
You
public
can
school. I'm
show up
trying
to
to
a
figure
PTA
out
meeting.
what the world is. You're supposed to be preparing the students for the real world, but I guess there are businesses that are like that. They're changing a little bit and allowing people to dress and wear certain hairstyles at businesses nowadays. But on the whole, what businesses would not allow this young man to wear his hair the way he's wearing it now? Besides somebody in
Businesses
fast
that
food,
adhere to
maybe.
systemically oppressing their employees, which is a lot of businesses,
Mhm.
actually. That's why they put you in uniforms. That's why no matter where you worked at, office, retail store, grocery store, factory, it's always cold. It's never going to be a warm, comfortable temperature because they always want you a little agitated. They always want you uncomfortable so that you have it in your mind, well, if I just do my work, if I'm just always doing something, I'll be warmer. So
Yeah.
there's little things put into the workforce, into the, into the workforce system that is meant to oppress its employee in order to keep them pretty much enslaved. And the school system is a part of that. Standardized testing isn't really about how intelligent you are, it's about how culturally aware you are of the things that need to be important to us in this culture. What is important for a future employer to want to hire you? What do you know, or what do you need to know in order to be deemed a viable member or a viable human being that can be hired to work in one of these nice big factories or these nice retail stores that we're building? So the school system is literally kind of modeled after the workforce, and both of those things are kind of modeled after slavery.
Yeah. I don't even know a workforce beside, like I said, fast food. You have to wear your hair a certain way. It doesn't really matter. I don't think the length, as long as you tie it up and wear a hairnet on. And maybe banks. Banks may care a little bit, but I've banks kind of don't even care now, because I've been to some banks now where the girls had blue hair and spikes in their hair and a bull ring in their nose, and I'm like,
Guess what?
hey,
That wouldn't be a problem
that's
if
crazy.
black people owned banks. If we owned our own, if we had our own version of BB&T, it wouldn't be so shocking to see a teller with dreadlocks or a teller with bantu knots. It wouldn't be so shocking, but we're always trying to neutralize our ethnicity so that we can get into these predominantly white institutions.
So what would y'all do if y'all were living in Texas, and instead of 12th grade, I'm put your kid in 9th grade, and the kid wants to grow his dreads kind of like he has, and the school is saying he has to cut them. What would you do with your kid? Or the school
Homeschool 'em.
system? What would you do with the situation if this was your kid?
I'd homeschool them, but at the same time, I would still protest the school system.
Okay. Anyone else? What would y'all do?
I damn sure ain't making them cut them. I'm not making them conform. By no means.
Mhm.
So I would definitely wouldn't be making them cut them. I'd be standing behind them and whatever they wanted to do with it. But cutting it wouldn't be a thing for me. So I
Okay.
mean, I homeschooled my kid when I didn't agree with what was going on or how school was going to be before COVID. I started homeschooling my son, so I'm sure that would be a situation where I just homeschool him. Or send them like now, you got charter schools and different schools that have, may have different rules, but yeah, cutting it wouldn't be an option for me though.
What about you, Breezy? What would you do?
I wouldn't cut them. I mean, I would fight.
Okay, and I think what he was going through, he was in school suspension, and I think eventually he had to be taught at home for a few. And if he's in 9th grade, he would have to possibly fight through this for 4 years. Since this is all in Texas, so he couldn't like go to another school and get rid of this. He might have to go to another state, but unless he went to a private school that didn't care about this, where they're not regulated by federal school rules, he could go through that possibly. But this is long withstanding, because if it's going to happen in the school, it's going to happen in. I don't think it's actually, like I said, I don't think it's going to happen that much in real life. Like I said, in certain sectors of jobs, the military, I could see that. And like I said, banks, some of them, like I said, some of them being a little bit more lax with how you dress or how you wear your hair. And some fast food restaurants, most jobs don't care how you wear your hair anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So this is supposed to be a model to how you're supposed to go into real life. And I think they're being a horrible model of showing how you're supposed to treat somebody going into later life of being in adulthood.
I know for the police, it might be an issue too. One of my nephews went for a job. He's had a couple of different things, and what they wanted to know was he willing to cut his hair, or how one of them put it in a way, how important are your dreads to you? What they asked him, and clearly his answer was that they were too important because he didn't get the job.
Okay.
And then he turned around and cut his hair. He wasn't gonna cut his hair. He was taking a stand, but he has a daughter now. And so some of those principles went out the door, when he started, running into different things. And now he don't have just himself to live for. He's got a daughter that he's got to think about and provide for. So he ended up caving in and cutting his hair. He still didn't get that particular job, but he did end up, cutting his dreads because he had to provide for his child. So it was like, I can't eat my principle. My daughter can't eat this principle.
Right.
Yes, that's something that I want to do, but I have to be realistic. And at this point, if this is the sector I'm gonna try to be in, then I got to go ahead and cut the hair. And he did.
So when he was going for the police position, he had to cut his hair before he got it, or was this after the fact? They said he couldn't get it unless he cut his hair. I'm trying to understand.
This was during the interview. During the interview, they asked him.
Yeah.
No,
They asked him how important were the dreads to him. His
Oh,
answer was that they were important and he wasn't going to cut his hair, basically. And he
yeah.
did not get the job. So after he didn't get the job, in self-reflecting and different things, he was standing on his principle at the beginning. He wasn't going to cut his hair. But then when he started getting into a situation where his finances were really being affected by the fact that he couldn't really get into the sector that he wanted to with that hair, now that he has a daughter, he let some of the principle of standing on that hair go because his daughter can't eat the dreads. His daughter can't eat his principles. And, he needed to be able to provide for her. So in that instance, he caved, but that's something personal. You got to decide, how long you going to stand on business.
Okay. Now, I thought you were saying that he was still in the interview process, cut his dreads, and they still didn't give him the job. I was like, man, that's messed up. I got what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's the last subject we're going to leave from there, and we're going to go into the deepest thought. Wrap it up there. And here is your deepest thought.
I appreciated that clip.
All right, that was the deepest thought. And that is the wrapping up of the show. I'd like to thank everybody for joining Hostile Therapy. LT, Lord Trent, not getting completely canceled today. And Preezy coming on for another show from the podcast Listen Up and Listen In on Podbean. You can check her out. She'll be you're gonna have an episode tomorrow morning.
Like 2 hamburger rolls? I don't know what else you want me to do for you.
Oh.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
No, I was saying you got an episode coming up tomorrow morning, Friday morning.
Yeah, I think so.
Was it 6?
I'm coming on 6 to 7.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Wake up early and get your Preezy episode. Listen up, listen in. Appreciate Sparky T for gracing us with her presence for another episode.
Hey.
All right. And thank everybody for joining us tonight on Hostile Therapy, getting some hostile therapy, not because you want it, but because you need it. And we will not be back next week. We'll be taking a break. And so you can rest your brains and we can gather up more stories, controversial stories to talk about and give our great opinions on. And I hope everybody has a good week, good rest of the week. This is the last day of Black History Month. We had an extra day thanks to leap year. So, hey, I can appreciate that.
Shit was a lie. It was perpetrated by the Jews. Palestine is behind everything. You said I didn't get us canceled too much. I'm about to go for broke at the end of the damn show. Adam Sandler and Puff Daddy are in a gay relationship.
Allegedly.
Bill Cosby is innocent still.
Allegedly.
Goddamn Suge Knight didn't do it.
Yeah, definitely allegedly.
Whitney Houston is alive.
What y'all think about Cam Newton getting whipped up on this week?
He didn't get whooped on. He did the whooping. Looked like to me.
It's funny how they went on immediately the next day. They was on a radio station, but when it came to pressing charges, they said, "Nah, we're good."
Yeah, he didn't do anything. I mean, Cam could have pressed charges, but that dude's hat didn't even come off. That guy fights 300-pound linebackers used to anyway on a daily basis. They couldn't do that. They might have added up to be 300-400 pounds. Those three guys together. I thought it was children at first. I was like, damn,
I really thought
it was children fighting.
I really thought
he showed to me that was a practice to get back in the NFL. That's what they showed that to me. I was like, he still got it.
Yeah, honestly, fuck them little. Look. I saw the videos of them little kids being disrespectful to him, and these grown men took it upon themselves to solve
Yeah,
things with violence
yeah.
instead of, I don't know, talking about it like they're supposed to.
Yeah. Could have said he was talking trash. They said that's why. And for what I understand, that is a staple of a lot of the 7-on-7 football teams. They just talk trash to each other, and that's just is what it is. And they just took it too personal this time.
Yeah, it seemed like they was kind of being bitches about it. Like if y'all talk trash, did he talk trash better? So y'all wanted to. Why wasn't it football? Like they should have kept it football. I don't even know how you keep it football.
Well, if they
Because
want
it was
bitches,
personal.
yeah.
It was personal.
If they want his bitches, then he sunned them that day at least.
Yeah, because his hat didn't even come off. How that man still got on his Salem witch trials hat? Wow, and get into a little scuffufferoo with y'all.
Shit. All right, we're gonna wrap it up there. Y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all on the next show. Peace.
All right.
Peace.
Hey, fuck Israel.